Happy Monday, everybody. TGIM. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Always 5 o'clock here at the studio.
Hey guys.
Haven't seen Zori in like 2 weeks, but he tags me on those Instagram posts saying it's 5 o'clock somewhere. But today's show is sponsored by accident attorney Armand Grigorian. If you have been involved in a car accident and you need the proper representation, none other than Armand Grigorian is the person you got to call. And we've mentioned it last week. We're going to mention it this week. Probably the only attorney that I know that gives out their personal cell phone number to anybody and anybody on his advertisements.
Yeah.
If you need to reach Armand at any time, Monday through Friday, if you've been involved in a car accident, even if it's an emergency, call his cell phone, 818-404-0333. The law offices of Armand Grigorian, 818-404-0333. Highly, highly recommended. He'll literally fight for you.
Yeah. I mean, for me, even my doctor, right? I go see him twice a year. I have to have his cell phone number. I hate going through the office calling. Who's calling? Yes, I will take a message. He'll call you back. And then you got to wait for 2 weeks and doesn't call you back. I got to be able to text the most important people in my life, which is attorney, doctor, family, right?
Who was that one person that was telling us a story where they reached out to somebody, a high-level individual, where they reached out to him and he got back within 24 hours. And he said, hey, listen, go through my secretary. And
not 24 hours. No.
Well, he got to them.
My brother was trying to, he reached out to the CEO, founder of a multi-billion-dollar tech company. And literally within 2 minutes, he responded via text. And then he said, why don't you schedule it with my assistant? So the guy gave his assistant's phone number to my brother to communicate with her to set up a meeting. She would take like 8, 20, 24 hours to respond. I'm like, the guy who's worth $5 billion responds in 2 minutes. The assistant who's making $50,000 a year takes 8 hours, 12 hours to respond. I don't understand.
That's the difference.
That's why you want to call Armand Grigorian at what? 818?
818-404-0333. Law offices of Armand Grigorian.
Nothing against assistants, guys. I'm just saying. But
yeah, if you need an assistant, hire an assistant. But we tend to digress.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks so much for tuning in with us today. We have a very special guest with us today, all the way from Chino Hills, Mrs. Sonja Shaw. I was going to say Miss Sonja Shaw. It's Mrs. Sonja Shaw. There we go. Mrs. Sonja Shaw. Thank you so much for being with us.
Absolutely. It's all my pleasure.
It's been a long time since we wanted you on the show. It was kind of like Instagram messages, and you had a lot going on. We had a lot going on. It was a shit show everywhere in California, but we finally made it happen.
Absolutely. No, I need an assistant for my Instagram. I can't keep up, guys. I'm sorry, but I'm glad we finally connected and we're here.
Definitely. So for those of you that don't know Sonja Shaw, very quickly, I want you to kind of give a little bit of a background about yourself, and then we're going to dive into some Q&A and what's been going on in California and obviously in your neck of the woods as well, because you guys were, a lot of people would say Glendale USD was kind of the stepping stone into this big movement. I tend to disagree. I think it was actually Chino Valley. But
well, we're all linked together in the
definitely
end of it, right?
At the end of the day.
I think everybody has their gifts and their strengths, and that's what makes this a really good thing.
Definitely.
Okay, how far do you want to dive? You said background, like as far as my background into when I got in politics. How
I want let's do background as far as how you got involved into the school board.
Perfect. Okay, shut down. What? Almost 4 years ago.
2020.
Yeah.
March.
So when that happened, I saw that our kids went online. And my kids included, and I was always that mom that was in the room, the classroom, either doing art, PE, whatever. We didn't have funding. I was in there, room mom, everything kind of mom. I didn't have a really great involvement with my mom. She passed away when I was 9, but prior to that, a lot of bad things happened. So I was always that mom that just wanted to be there for the kids. And with that said, when the shutdown happened, one of my kids had a great teacher, and she was breaking all the rules to engage with the class on the computer, but that wasn't the situation for all children. My other daughter just went into 7th grade. That was junior high over where we are at. I know some middle schools go into 5th grade, 6th grade-ish.
6th grade, yeah.
And she didn't have one Zoom, no one live, nothing, just busy work loaded onto the classroom. I wasn't really huge on social media. I started going on social media, seeing all these other parents talking all this different stuff that was happening and, that they saw, which we've all seen, inappropriate teachings, all these kinds of things. Everybody's experience was kind of unique, but kind of the same. We were all having problems. Long story short, I pulled my kids. I was like, I'm not going to do this in the public school system. They were closing them. They were going to continue online. I don't think it benefited kids. And then I put them in a charter, driving 45 minutes one way. And, my kids are athletes. They were with other athletes. We had, while it was against the law for our kids to go to school, the charters, a lot of them were wide open, right? That didn't make sense. So seeing the horror stories of all these other things that were happening to other children, then the whole come back to school was going to happen in some districts, and they wanted to mask the kids while the whole world was like back to normal. I started getting involved, connecting with those parents. Somebody said, you need to go to a school board meeting. I was like, what the heck is a school board meeting? Oh, you elect these officials. I'm like, I'm sorry. I know this sounds bad, guys. I had a really deep dive into politics, and I've learned a lot since then. But I said, okay, let's go to these school board meetings. Let's voice our opinions. Very quickly, we were trying to offer solutions and be partners with them, because that's what I was always used to in the classroom with my children's teachers. It was like we were shut down. They didn't want to hear us. They didn't want anything to do with it. And we quickly found out these people, the board majority that we had, including most of California schools, they didn't support parents. By that time, I became the president of a local advocacy group that just was a bunch of pissed off parents, frustrated with the system. Led the way. We started learning what an elective official, as far as assemblymen, Senate, how bills were made, put into law. I mean, I could tell you, we learned firsthand, which I think sometimes is the greatest. That's how my childhood was. You learn, things probably the best when you're in them, right? And a bunch of us parents decided we weren't going to be effective anymore, because we knew now this is a state thing. And I call them the political cartel in Sacramento. And they had our districts by a chokehold, most of them. And so we started connecting with other parents, including parents here in Glendale, right? That was the movement. And then we found out a school board election's coming up. Okay, well, we have 2 seats in Chino. Let's find some candidates. We had some of our moms that were campaign managers, me and other moms and some dads that were on the ground just trying to find people to run for school board. We found one candidate. I go to a central our GOP meeting, not even knowing what the heck that is, but they say, oh, this Republican Party is going to support your parents. You're conservative. They support you. So we started going there, speaking at their conventions. Long story short, somebody in our local GOP, I ended up becoming an alternate for a short period of time from her. She said, Sonja, you can't just have one candidate. You have to have 2. That's not how these seats work. And I was like, I went back on a Zoom with our moms, and we had one dad on the Zoom. And I said, okay, one of you lives in the area. We're learning trustee areas. We're learning all this because our districts was switching from at-large to trustee areas. Some California schools are still at-large. Some of them have trustee areas fully.
Trustee meaning like district-wise?
Yes.
So
not all districts have that. And some of them still don't have that.
Well, if I understand you correctly, you're saying trustees, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so with the Glendale Unified School District, what it is it's divided into 5 districts.
That's ours.
So it's like A, B, C, D. So that's what you guys are.
So this election this year will complete the other 3 seats, and then we'll have 5 members voted in by the areas that they live in, or closer to.
Well, basically by the districts they live in.
Exactly.
But you guys call it what? Trustees?
Well, we just call them the trustees for those areas. But yes, the districts.
So when it's at large, means it's just one.
Anybody in the community that lives there can run. You have to live there.
Right. But it's still only 5 seats, or it's more than 5 seats at the time?
Some districts have more. We currently have 5 board members. That's the way ours is set up. I've seen 7. But most of them have 5 to 7 board members, depending on the size, I think, of the district. I think we have right now a little over 26,000 kids, or a little under now, depending on how much is, we have declining enrollment all over California.
So it's a same size as Glendale. Glendale's about 25,500, right?
Yeah, so we're about the same.
Yeah, same size.
And it's always an odd number for voting purposes. Obviously.
You have to.
Yeah.
Well, I go on that Zoom and I'm like, okay, one of our moms, Kelly, she learned the map system. Pull up your addresses, start dishing out addresses. Nobody's coming up. And they get to my address and I'm literally like on the line. And then at that moment, everybody was like, Shaw 2022. I went upstairs to my husband, who was sleeping by then. It's like 11 something. I was, we were going all over the place, all these meetings and stuff. And I'm like, babe, we're going to run for school board. And he was like, we don't live in the area. And I'm like, no, we're actually on the line. And he said, well, then God opened the door and gave me a kiss, and the rest is history. We ran a really crazy race as parents. I don't ever call it my seat because it's our seat and it has been our seat and we're in it for the right reasons, not these crazy politicians pushing ideologies trying to destroy families. And, that's kind of how I became a school board member.
Yeah. Which is, what we spoke about off camera. It was school boards used to be comprised of aunts, uncles,
Yeah.
moms, dads, brothers, grandmas, and
papas,
yeah, and
Jittos, BBs.
there you
all
go.
of them.
And in essence, your seat became a complete 180.
Yeah.
It went from a political opponent,
Mhm.
and then you sat there, and you're just a mom.
A mom.
And you literally went through the same process Armand and I went through. Whereas, when we became involved in not only the city but with
Mhm.
the school board, we're like, all right, well, what's District A? Well, what's District
Yeah.
B? Well, where's this moron sitting? And where's that moron sitting? And it was all kind of like a learning process for us as well.
Absolutely.
And again, when did it take place? Like 2 years ago.
Yeah, started. Yeah, basically, that's when the initial
2022.
meeting started, and then but the protests were last year, right?
The protests were in 2023.
Yeah.
The protests were in 2023. That's when everything kind of went full
Yeah.
blown out. But
Well, they wanted these unions, the political cartel in Sacramento, they have a chokehold on the districts, right? They're used to putting these people in these positions because they want to control the ideologies that go down in the classroom. They don't want, the unions too. You got to think about our local election. I was born and raised in Chino. I went through the Chino schools. I graduated from the Chino schools. I'm a mother of 2 children where me and my husband, work hard to live in our community because it's a beautiful community. We believe in what our community values are. Well, you had the union dump $30,000 into each candidate, and you had the person I ran against with mostly almost all special interest group money, $125,000. So if you add it up, it's almost $150,000 to run for that one seat against me.
jeez.
The soccer mom, I call myself a soccer mom because I'm just a normal mom.
Yeah.
But that's how bad they want this. They were running Fox 11 news commercials. They were sending mailers every day, things we can never compete with, right? But I think that's where they got afraid to know that, okay, a couple districts are starting to change. There's noise. Glendale's making some noise. We're all making some noise. We want common sense. We want our kids to be educated and not indoctrinated, right? And they're fighting hard. This election, they're dumping money. They got 2 of my friends, some of the board members, Temecula, Orange, recalled going after their jobs. They tried calling my husband's job. How bad do they want your kids? People need to wake up and realize that. They want you control of your kids.
It's cancel culture. They basically, if you're against what their agenda is, they go after you and they try to cancel you. In this case, they tried to cancel your husband. They went after
and us too. They went after calling us all kinds of names, saying this, that, the other, right-wing Christian nationalist extremist.
Nazi, fascist.
Oh, I got all of that. Yeah. That's...
How is it that they're able to, for example, allocate $150,000 for one candidate?
They're smart because
whereas we can't do that.
Okay, so some school boards, like Assembly, Senate, they have limits, right? Some school boards do have limits. Ours do not have limits. So you can donate as much as you want. But look at Act Blue.
Directly, you can donate as much as you want.
Somebody can give me $200,000 to run for school board if they want to.
Really?
Yes. But that shows you how much money, because they don't want to control these things. Now, here's the thing. Even if you do put caps on it, how do you put a cap on a PAC, right?
That's the thing. That's why they go through the PAC.
The committees.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't even have to, but they put them through PACs because that is very hard to find unless you know the PAC name on who's paying for what, right? So it's almost kind of hiding it from the public in a way, but we have to be smarter and develop these PACs and have people donate to those too. But with that said, the left has always been really great at making smaller donations in larger amounts, right? So you'll see hundreds of people donate all under $99 to somebody to equal a big, large number. And if you poll the person that I ran against, you're talking about White House employees, attorney generals all over, everywhere, attorney generals. You're talking about Planned Parenthood. You're talking about teachers unions. You're talking all the special interest groups dumping that money into these people.
It's the same machine that's going on
here.
It
is a machine. But you know where you win them? Your community. We won because we knocked every single door and we told the story and we told them what was happening to their kids. We didn't win by a lot. Remember, it's incumbent. Back then, most people like myself, before running, we were like, what is that? Some people don't even vote for it, right? They don't even know.
And who counted the votes and how long did it take for the votes to be
Oh my gosh, was that a ride? So the ROV, right? But ours, it's the register of voters. If people don't know what ROV, I'll try to like explain some of the things. But they count it, and I don't think ours was even official for. It had to be almost closer to a month before they finally put the stamp on it. And it's like, what are you waiting for? Just stamp it. It doesn't take that long to count a ballot, right? You have machines, you have this, that, the other. We didn't win by a big, large amount. And I only say that because I'm reminded of that daily. But I think if you were to run the election again today, I would hope and pray that we would have way more numbers than we did. I won by 316. I only know that because they post it. They come to the meetings and say, Shaw, you only won by 316. You're gonna lose the seat, right? Threaten recalls all the time. And I'm like, bring it. Why are you so afraid?
John 3:16, man.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
And Joshua 1:9, my daughter's live verse, but like God commanded us to be strong and courageous. Go out there. Yeah. And if my community doesn't want me, then so be it. I'll make sure I still fight for kids some way.
What's the voter turnout in Chino Hills?
Well, for my particular seat, I want to say we had a little over 5,000. And then we had about, I think 10,000 registered voters in the area.
So 50%.
And we weren't on a presidential election. It was not.
Was it in the middle of the year?
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's what's changed with us.
So I'm hoping this year we have 3 seats up.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we see a larger turnout. I hope that the hard work and the dedication and the sacrifice that we're all putting into it really shows up, because if it doesn't, then it's like, what are you guys doing? Do you really care about your kids? People need to wake up. Like it was very disappointing because I got close to some of your candidates here in Glendale to see not such a great turnout, right? Like with everything that was happening, like, what it is too, I've noticed I call us the normal day-to-day people. We work, we provide, we're trying to put food on the table right now. I mean, things are skyrocketing. Everything is inflated. We just don't show up to the polls.
And that's
the
why
problem.
One of the reasons I asked you who counts the votes is because Glendale doesn't count the votes for Glendale. LA does.
Yeah, LA.
And if you look at city council elections, the school board, the day of the election, all of our candidates are winning.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a few days later, a week or two later, by the time 3 weeks, it takes about 3 weeks for us to get the final results.
Yeah, it was us.
The numbers have completely changed.
Yeah.
And mysteriously, most of the votes, if not all the votes that show up right after the election night, goes all to them.
Isn't that funny?
It's kind of mysterious that way here.
Absolutely, but I still say we can't surrender, right? We have.
No, of course not. That's why
it's discouraging.
Well, what I think people need to do, because we don't have the, we don't have the Planned Parenthood or those large organizations that are organized to fund us. What we need to do, for example, you said there were about 5,000 votes for your particular district, right? And about a little over half of that was for you, which means 25.
No, there was like, I think 10,000 and something. So she had about, 5,000.
Okay.
I had
a little over. Okay.
Yeah.
So say 5,000, right? You're 5,000 voters. If they donated $50, that's $250,000. That's huge for a school board campaign.
But you know how hard it is for normal people like us to ask for money? Even though we're doing the work, we got to get that mindset of what you're saying.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We're not asking for 2,000. We're not asking for $550.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and 250,000 goes a long way for a local campaign.
I really wish that people would take that, because $50, come on, let's be real, to save your children, in essence, that their
it's 4
future.
Frappuccinos. I mean,
Frappuccinos,
roughly,
right?
Roughly.
Yeah. Okay.
But hopefully we start spreading that message and get people to wake up, right? Turn in your votes. There's no reason not to turn in your vote, and hold them accountable. Okay, we know people cheat. We know things mysteriously disappear. Well, guess what? Even if you don't want to go to the polls and you're just too busy to be bothered, okay, cool. Turn in your thing, follow it, track it. If it doesn't get turned in, hold them responsible. Ask them where your vote is, right? Like, you have the tracker. Eventually, we have to do that in order to make the change. If we don't do that, we literally are surrendering.
See, election day used to be somewhat of a holiday back in the day.
Yeah, it was like exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting. A lot of people took the day off.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of businesses would basically allow you to take time off to go and vote and then come back and, show off your little sticker. Now, election day has become
An election week.
An election week, not
Yeah.
even election week, man. Like, what
Mhm.
was it,
Election
election
month?
month now? So I think it's a lot of people are getting discouraged, and unfortunately, with with our culture, with the Armenian culture, and I think it's with a lot of Middle Easterns as well. There's a lack of trust in the voting system
Absolutely.
because we came from a communist Armenia, communist
Yeah.
Soviet Armenia. So,
My dad's family is part of a genocide too. Like they were being killed. So I totally understand
which we'll get into as
the
well.
dynamic.
So for us, it was like, when you speak to whether it's my father or if you spoke to my grandfather or even,
Mhm.
Armun's, parents and anybody of his parents' generation, it would be more of a, oh, do you trust the government? Well, no, we don't trust the government. They've screwed us in Armenia and in the Soviet Union. They'll probably do the same thing here. There's no difference. That mindset needs to be changed.
It does.
And a lot of people need to understand, and we mentioned this last week when Alex Palekian was here, that local elections matter. They really do.
There's so much more. I mean, we need to change what's our Senate and our Assembly, because now what you see the trend, everything we do local and they don't like, they bring a law to prevent us.
Yes.
That's apparent. But the local is where you make the most change. You have the loudest voice and heart because you're listening to the people of your community, right?
Correct.
Like I wouldn't go live somewhere in LA Unified as far as like in LA, in the deep LA area, because I know that no one's fighting back. Well, there is great people. We're starting to meet them. They're starting to understand what's going on. But let's be real. I'm not going to go where I know, all these things are being promoted and the ideologies and the indoctrinations is praised. Heck
Yes.
no. That's not the community. So local is really where the heart of the change is.
Yeah.
And let them come after local, because that wakes up the normal person like myself, right?
You literally took the words out of my mouth. It's exactly what I was going to say. When you win a local election, and when we saw what happened in Chino Valley, you win a local election and they push back. What happens is they go, all right, well, we can't do anything here. Who do we go to? Oh, let's go to Big Brother. So then they go up to Sacramento and they start getting the
Daddy Newsom
exactly.
and Tony Thurman and
Exactly.
Bonta, our attorney general, who's supposed to be working on the lawlessness that's created here, but they're creating it.
So that should be an awakening for those people that have doubt in local politics.
Absolutely.
Meaning not only your school board, but your local government as well, your city council. If you can make a change there, know that you can make a change up north as well. Because what's happening is a lot of these local officials are riding that or climbing that stepping stone into those political seeds.
Yep.
And if they can do it, we can do it as well. It's just a matter of trusting the system and trusting the community.
Yeah. And we just beat them at their own game. Everything they do, I mean, just they say we have a playbook. In reality, we just saw what they were doing and do it better because we have the heart. They don't have the heart. They're not here to protect families and children. They're here to destroy those things, right? So unless we wake up, I'm literally telling the world, wake up, because you're either going to fight and be part of the solution or you're surrendering your family and your kids.
So let's do this now. We want to touch base on when the local news and a lot of the pushback began. What do you remember the date that you initially started doing the pushback against what was actually trickling in from Sacramento? Yeah. And what was the reaction from a lot of the parents and from both sides, both the left and the right?
So remember I told you as parents, we were watching bills, right?
Correct.
Go through. So with that said, when I became the school board president, I'm still watching bills because we have all these crazy bills, like, tampons in boys' restrooms, all this stuff that's requiring districts to do some really crazy things. I saw AB 1314 from Assemblyman Bilicelli, and I was like, we need to support this, because we used to tell our school board members, push back. You're an elected body. We'll push back. We'll go try to make appointments with our elected officials, which they never, met with us. Only one did. But push back because you're an elected body. So when you push back, you're a louder voice because you're the voice of the community, and they wouldn't do it. So when I saw AB 1314, I'm like, I need to bring a resolution forward to support that, because we can then write support letters as Chino Valley saying we support this bill. Long story short, I did that back in February. How long I've been on the board? When I first got on there, I think it's 2022 or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 2022. Or 2023. I don't even know what we're into. Yeah, 2023 is when I won it in 2022, but I took your first board meetings like January.
So you've been there for about a year and a half.
Year and a half. Okay. Yeah, it'll be 2 years at the end of this year. So I brought the resolution forward, And our board majority, minus one, who's the union dude, and he's part of the crazy left, they supported it. But Bill Aselli came to our meeting that day and he said, good news, bad news. I'm glad you guys supported it. Thank you. But unfortunately, they wouldn't give it a hearing. They wouldn't even hear his bill in Sacramento. That's how they talk about democracy, which first of all, we're a republic, but whatever, if you want to go that route, how is it democracy when you can't even hear a bill? It's okay. Put it on record that you vote against it, but let it go through the process. You talk about a process, they shut it down right away. But he said, but I do want to tell you guys, you as an elected body, it's not against the law. You can make your own policy. And I'm like, wow, bingo. School board members make policy. That's our job. Just like, Sacramento, and then make laws, right? So I quickly was blessed by being part of a very mindful, talented group, a coalition, so to say, that naturally came together of a bunch of people fighting for what was going on in the school system. We had attorneys, we had everybody on there, and we brought forward a mindful policy. But I will say this, our superintendent was scared. Our district was scared. They kept saying, you're going to break the law. It's against the law. And I'm like, show us the law. And I remember when the policy was almost ready, there's still not an attorney that told us what law we're breaking. They were just telling our superintendent, you're going to break the law, right? If you do this. And I'm like, I'm not that dumb. What law? Tell me the law. Give me the number so I can go look it up and I could see if we're actually breaking it. Long story short, he had one of those aha moments. Oh, Mrs. Shaw, I guess they've been lying to us. There is no law. Okay, cool. We're bringing it forward. And that's when we brought it forward with transparency on a first reading in June of 2023. And then July 2023, we brought it. And that's when Tony Thurman came off his throne. Mind you, Tony Thurman is our state superintendent of education. First of all, that should not be an elected position. Our superintendents go through school. They have a lot of training. Why are you having a political person in a part where of a superintendent's position?
Because I remember when Tony Thurman showed up.
Yeah.
And that was one. It was highlights of the board meeting that I was watching. I'm like, what is this schmuck doing here?
Yeah.
Why are you
to bully us? He called our superintendent that morning trying to tell him to pull the policy.
Yes. And he's like, okay, what are you doing there? Why are you showing up? Are you trying to be like, he basically thought he was coming in there with a Superman cape here to basically
save the world from parents
exactly
being involved in their kids' lives.
And then when the parents started to boo him, he realized that, oh shit, no, there's I think I'm in the wrong school board.
And what's funny is, I'm still mindful of their safety and everything. I let him go first. Then when he found out Bill Aselli was at the meeting, he said he wanted to go after Bill. And I'm like, no, we've already made that exception for you. We sat you in the front row right next to Bill Aselli. Imagine this, the person that opposes it, the person that actually created this bill that developed into a policy. But long story short, Tony Thurman came and walked with the person that we unseated. So there's a history with him being involved in our community because our community has been really close as far as parents, right? And they've targeted our community for a long time. That's why we had the board majority that didn't support parents prior to that. Well, when he did that, I told our superintendent, look, anything I bring forward, I don't want you guys to take the heat. You focus on education. I focus on the crap coming from Sacramento. Send them to me.
Yeah.
So right before the meeting, Tony called me because I told the superintendent, if he calls you, you give him my personal cell phone. And he says, what's up, Mrs. Shaw? I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Can you poll it so we can talk about this and work together? And I'm like, oh, when I was a parent, I reached out to you multiple times trying to work with you on making sure kids weren't exposed to all the things that you guys pushed down from here. He didn't want anything to do with that. And when he came to our board meeting and tried to hijack it, I was like, oh, heck no, not here. You wouldn't allow that in Sacramento. I'm not going to allow that here. I support our community. And we let him speak. But then I let him know exactly how we feel about him.
Yeah.
But I don't even think we speak for just Chino. I think we speak for the majority of common sense in California. And we've been programmed as Californians to think that we're all left and liberal and woke and we're this way, but we're not. We still have values and morals when it comes to family, right? Maybe some of us have more values and morals than others. That's okay. But when it comes to our children, I think the majority of people agree with us.
No,
just
absolutely.
Not those people in those positions.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And during the Glendale Unified School District protests, what happened was a lot of the people were saying, look, if Chino Valley could do it, we can do it. If Chino Valley could change policies, we can do it. Now, it's unfortunate that we were 5-0 as far as board members and you guys were
3. They had 3, we had 2.
so you guys were 3-2, but
Yeah.
now you're
We're 4-1.
now you're 4-1. So
But we have 3 seats up.
there you go. Oh, so
They're coming hardcore
Are they?
because they did pull a website. They collected donations. They even had signs made, recall Shaw with the website. But guess what?
So cute.
It was adorable, but they never pulled a committee. What does the FPPC say? You have to have a committee to do a recall. Where's your freaking... So they dismantled all of that, and then they directed towards switching to 3 seats this election.
Yeah, interesting. So, with the Glendale Unified School District, we attempted the flip
Yeah.
to have certain parents run against certain politicians. And I'm going to call them politicians because that's what they were.
They are.
And unfortunately, exactly what Armand said. Day of election, all of a sudden you're like, all right, that's it. We got this in the bag. And then, it's like PTSD. We didn't want to hold our breath because we knew.
But you know what? Sometimes, I'm going to be honest, I've seen it in this last couple of years. It takes 2 election cycles, and you have to just keep persistent. And you know what we need to start doing?
Tell me.
Something we all hate. Ballot harvest. It's legal. Why don't we beat them at their own game and start harvesting those ballots at the door? Hey, guys, I'm here to run for election. Maybe the candidate can't carry it, but you have parents are with you, or grandparents or grandma and grandpas. They could take that ballot, turn it in, make sure it gets there, sign off on it. It's totally legal. Beat them at their own game till they make ballot harvesting illegal, right? Like our local church does it through their political arm. And I don't even call it political arm, through their moral arm of getting involved as we should. And they're beating the system. I can't tell you how many times I get, you only got elected by your church. Well, my church is our community members. So great. I got elected by our community members. Wonderful. That's what we are here for, right?
There was this funny meme I saw online, and I think I shared it with you guys as well. It was make voter ID legal so Donald Trump can't cheat. So it's like beat them at their own game. Tell them that we should legalize voter ID so Trump can't cheat.
Using reverse psychology there.
Yeah, if you tell them it's going to benefit them, though, next day it'll be illegal to vote without an ID.
Immediate change.
Yeah,
immediate.
But again, going back to that's the thing. Because remember we were talking to different candidates throughout the last year or so, where it doesn't seem like the Republican, I guess, committee is in any way assisting, because they obviously got a lot of money, right? And it could be allocated towards certain local campaigns.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't seem like it's being allocated. Where are those funds going, and why are they not helping, let's say, candidates like you or the ones we had in Glendale? It's all grassroots efforts to try to raise money to manage a campaign, which is very, very difficult to do.
Absolutely. You know what? Talking to many people, I have the same frustration, but I don't think we should wait for anybody to save us. If our party's going to fail us, then we either get delegates and take over those committees, because let's be real, we can all agree that most of them, obviously California, where are they in this movement? Where are they in supporting us when we're getting harassed? Where is their statements on protecting kids, right, and families? That's our core values of our party. But at the same token, I don't think we should wait for them to save us. We're going to only be able to save ourselves through, the strength of God. Let's be real. But in the end, as frustrated as I get, and I'm as mad as I get with some of them, the majority of them, I'm not going to sit around and wait for them to save us, to save our kids. Like, let's get involved. Let's have the moms and the dads and the papas run for those delegate seats. So what? They may not win that election, but guess what happens when we go walking and knocking on those doors and telling the story? You spread awareness. You wake up people like me, you. We were never in this prior. We wouldn't have been sitting here if we didn't know what hit us, right? When the COVID shutdown happened. But the reality is it did happen, and it woke the heck out of us. And now we're here to fight the good fight. And they've never seen a fight like this. They don't even know how to fight us. They've come at us with every tactic. But the problem is, when you have a mother and a father and a grandma and grandpa standing in front of their children, we're not backing down. You have to kill me. You have to take me out on a stretcher. I mean, I joke around with it with some of my best friends all the time through this movement, is they know that you're going to have to take me out. Calling me names, threatening our lives, going after our jobs, going after whatever it may be, do it. But if it means protecting one child, do it all day long. I'm not going to give up. Neither are you. We're going to bring awareness, and we're going to fight the good fight. I think our message needs to be, don't wait for the party to save you, because they're not going to save us.
They're not, of course.
Absolutely not.
Have you noticed more of a, I guess, more support after you were elected, and more people stepping up, and because we talk about more people are waking up, and we expected a red wave. When was it? 2 years ago?
Yeah.
But we obviously haven't seen a red wave. And if you look at globally, there are some countries who have switched to a more conservative prime minister, president over the last couple of years,
Yeah.
because they've been fed up with the two. But you personally in Chino Valley, have you noticed any type of shift as far as, for instance, where 2 years ago when you were knocking on doors, they were not as receptive, or they were skeptical, whereas now that you've been elected and you've shown what you can do, are they more receptive, and are you seeing a higher number of people supporting you, or what's been the outcome of all that?
I absolutely think there's more awareness and more support. I could tell you, every school year so far, that's 2, and this will be the 3rd school year that we're going into. I go and visit every classroom, unless they're in the library or something, with our superintendent. We go do classroom visits, and at first, you could tell staff, teachers, everything were scared at first. Now we walk in the room, I get hugs in front of the superintendent. Oh my God, we love you guys. Don't give up. Blah blah blah. You go to the doors. We have parents and candidates walking right now for those 3 seats. You get hugs, you get welcoming. Of course, you're going to have the handful of haters, and that's fine. That just reminds you why you need to fight a little bit harder, because those people are still fighting against common sense, right? But going to the grocery store, my husband, sometimes I'll send him for milk or whatever, and he comes back and he got stopped 3. I'm like, why'd you take it so long? I got stopped 3 times. Or, just the other day, I'm walking to my car. Are you Sonja Shaw? Like looking all tough. And I'm like, yeah, who's asking? I said it that way because I'm like, oh crap, this can go either way, right? And then they were like, Chino's got your back. And I'm like, okay, cool. I think through this process, you do have more support. There's still people that are really scared. And I think that's where we need to tell what is going on for them to know what's at stake. And I will say this, our community as a majority, and I love our parents, but they got a little comfortable because when you have, the board majority, so they're getting back in the groove of realizing, like, you have a lot at stake this election. You better wake up and you better do the work. Otherwise, we're going to go back to where we were, and then we're done. I mean, what are you going to do at that point? They're going to defeat the community if you allow them, right? They have the big money. They have paid knockers. But if you get your army of grandmas, papa's, moms, dads, community members going and knocking, and even teachers. I mean, our district alone, it's not a huge number, but I want to say we're close to 150 or even more teachers and counselors that got out of the union. Why? Because they saw what their union's doing. The union is fighting us. They're costing taxpayer dollars. They're challenging every policy we brought in forward. They're challenging it. They're coming to the meetings. They're creating destruction. I think it's great, though, because parents are seeing how their teachers, look, we have a lot of great teachers, but we also have a shortage of teachers California-wide and nationwide, because no one's signing up for this job, because no one wants to be an activist. And the only people signing up are activists or a few good people that are just willing to jump in and try to fight the good fight for our kids. But the good teachers are realizing they don't want their money to be putting towards funding this crazy woke agenda that's indoctrinating their children, right? They've seen their unions in action. They're supposed to be protecting, education and making sure they can teach, not this crazy crap. They're supposed to be protecting their work, their work environment, not this crazy junk, fighting parents. Why are you fighting parents for being informed? It's so weird to me that you still have, I don't even call them teachers. I'm not going to give them that credit, because that actually puts down our good teachers. You have these activists in the classroom that think they have a right over a parent. What the heck is happening? So you do see hope. I think the biggest thing is not to allow them to discourage you, because they will try to make people like us examples. But in the end, look them in the face. Who's behind us when we're fighting? The children.
Yeah. Like my daughter's school right now, this year, unfortunately, they mixed up the 5th and 6th, the 4th and 5th graders, and then the 4th and 3rd graders, because there's a shortage of teachers.
Well, not just that. You know why? The funding. Newsom put us in a deficit with the crazy, spending over there. School districts this year, that's why you see a lot of people either doing combo classes, which we hate, larger class sizes, right? And you also, but regardless of those are going against teachers' work conditions. And you see the unions, they're not up in arms with those things. But that's because they're still supporting Newsom and the craziness that's going up there. You have what is called a COLA. You know, that's how your school districts are given the money to. We're hoping we're going to get 1%, but that's probably not even going to happen. That means you have no money in comparison to what you're spending. So you see some districts cutting hundreds of teachers and counselors and other things. You have the COVID money that's running out. So all the things that they paid for during that nice little time, they signed all the checks and took all the money and being reckless with the spending. A lot of them are now having to fire all these people.
Well, I'm part of school side council. I'm actually the head chair for
great.
my daughter's school.
See, high five.
Yeah. So
that's what we need.
So the fact that you just said that now during our first meeting, we weren't, when we did the budgeting last year at the end of the year for this year, we weren't aware of the classrooms being split.
Yeah.
So now that's going to be a conversation to be brought up that, I mean, again, my daughter's not going to be in those classes.
What's your salary?
It's free.
Hey, he's a volunteer.
Yeah.
All the good ones don't get paid.
Yeah. I wish I got a salary.
Hey, not like the teachers union presidents.
We come up with ideas, and unfortunately, some of our ideas are shot down because, quote unquote, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's like
common sense doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a completely different story in its own. So, funding,
Bike lanes.
Yeah,
Bike lanes.
Yeah, bike lanes make sense.
Bike
Absolutely. But
We need more.
Glendale and your bike lanes.
Oh, geez, I know it's a story of our freaking lives. We tend to digress, but anyways, going back, it's not the teacher's fault. A lot of these teachers are great teachers, like you mentioned, and when you ask a lot of them, why are you part of the union? They say, well, it's to protect my job and X, Y, Z.
Mm-mm.
But, I've had a conversation with some of these teachers and I've said, well, with your union dues, God forbid you get into a lawsuit. What is the union going to do? Are they going to hire an attorney for you? Well, no, they'll probably ask me to retain an attorney. I'm like, so what the hell are you paying your union dues for?
You know that there's still protection for them.
So exactly. And then they said, well, if the school teachers all get a raise, I get a raise with them. I said, wait a minute. Are there any teachers that have not gotten raises that weren't part of the union? Well, no, everybody gets a raise all around. So then again, what are you paying your dues for?
Yeah.
See,
I'm glad you're asking these questions.
But that's the thing. When you ask these questions and then they realize what the reality is, a lot of them may wake up. They may, pull the rug underneath that union and say, you know what, I don't no longer want to pay you. But some of them,
they're scared.
There you go.
Just like parents. I mean, let's be real. Bad stuff happens to their kids at school and they're still afraid to say something. So they use other parents or, someone like myself to go voice what happened. I understand that. But at what point are we going to say, okay, where are they going to be scared? Or we're going to have a lot of kids being hurt at stake?
Have you seen the movie A Bug's Life?
Yeah.
With
ants.
Disney, with the ants and the crickets.
Yeah.
So for those of you that haven't seen it, very, very quickly, it's an ant colony that's basically dominated by not a bunch, but a handful of crickets. And the crickets, every year, they'll come in, they'll want their harvest from the ants.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the crickets, the leader, says, you know what? There are a bunch of ants. They don't know what they're doing. And one of his buddies says, hey, you know what? Let's not go back for the harvest this year. And the leader grabs a piece of grain and he throws at him. He goes, did that hurt? He goes, no, it didn't hurt. And then he grabs another one. He throws at him. He goes, did that hurt? He goes, no. But then he breaks the entire, I guess, whatever it is that's holding all the grain, the jar, and all the grain falls on top of his buddies. And then he kind of symbolizes that, listen, one ant may not do anything to you, but when a bunch of them do it, we're outnumbered.
Yeah.
These individuals are outnumbered by a lot of the parents. It's just a matter of us waking up and understanding that, hey, listen, you're not alone.
Absolutely.
I got your back. And we got to lock arms and fight this fight together because it's not for us. It's for our kids.
And their future.
There you go.
They won't have one if we don't, right?
They won't.
Now, as a board member, have you had the type of impact that you expected to have? And let me kind of clarify what I mean by that. Because, over the years, we always talk about, let's say you run for office. You think, yeah, I'm going to go become a city council member or a board member, or whatever position that is, and I'll make the changes. Then once you're in office, you're sitting at your seat, you realize, damn, I have no power. I can't really vote on much. Even if I do, it gets vetoed or whatnot. So why bother with it? Go on a campaign trail, make promises that I cannot keep, because once I go into office, I'm going to realize I don't have any of the powers to be able to keep my promises. Now, you've been at the seat for now a year and a half. Have you been able to actually make a impact where, for example, the people that voted for you for whatever reason they did, as far as the
Mhm.
policy changes that you were going to make, have you been able to make those changes, or
Mhm.
is it in progress, or is it just a dead end where you're like, well, gee, I didn't realize that I really don't have much authority here. Um, how has that experience been for you?
I think in my personal experience, we've made a lot of changes because at first there was a lot of resistance and you've seen people not really like it, but it's about the enforcement. So if you're working like in a school district, if you're working with the superintendent, that is key because they have the ability to enforce what you guys are doing as a board, right?
Yes.
So you have to be involved though. You can't be a rubber stamper that just comes to a meeting, gets loud and then walks away and says, I supported parents. You got to be in this. You got to make sure that you're communicating with parents. Let them know what to look for. Let them know to ask the questions to their children. Tell them, hey, this is coming up. Hey, this stuff is coming up, or this stuff is required by law. Make sure that we're barely meeting them, the letter of the law, but we're teaching the kids. And I think we've been very effective with making sure that's happening in our community. That's why we've had so much resistance from the unions and Tony Thurman and the rest of them and being sued by the state because we're doing the work that they don't want us to do. We're pushing back. We're saying, nope, not going to teach. We're not going to do that here. We're going to make sure kids are proficient in reading, writing, math. Do we have challenges? Absolutely, because we still have activists around, right? But the fact is, we're still pushing back and making sure if they do something and they cross the line, we're going to hold them accountable. But that all comes with working with everybody as a team. And let's be real, I became progressively loud as a parent, especially at the meetings, where I know a lot of staff members now, because they've came to me, hey, at first we didn't like you and now we love you. We know what you're doing. Because like I said, I will get in front of them if they take the heat and I'll take the heat along with, some other people that are willing to take the heat, but you do your job. We'll make sure that you can do your job. Right. And that's why I think they're so pissed off with communities like our own, because we're not controlled by them and they don't like that. They want control. Right. So right now they're mad. They're trying to do everything they can to pull the control, sue us, do crazy things, come down, threaten us, try to bully us, submit a bunch of freaking investigations on us. I mean, you can even imagine when we first did our policy, we were being investigated by everybody. You had, the ACLU, everybody out. I mean, go watch the hearing of AB 1955. All those special interest groups that were for AB 1955, they were all coming against us and they still are.
And who was paying for all this?
Guess who?
Taxpayers.
Absolutely. Most of it, yeah. And special interest money. Yep.
And how have you been fighting back? I mean, are you guys hiring attorneys, or it's just you with amongst your team and volunteers reading about the regulations, laws, and everything and fighting back?
You have to do your work. You obviously don't want to get attorneys on everything, but Chino Valley and other school districts, after we were sued by, Bonta and Thurman, the Department of Ed, we were able to secure a nonprofit to be able to support us through this process. We were supposed to be in court last Friday. We're still going through that court process, all while they push this law to prevent us from doing what we were doing illegally, then makes the law. I mean, come on, make it make sense. Then they bring a law forward to make what we did actually illegal back. And it doesn't start till January 2025. So they're trying to push the process out. But with that said, we do have a nonprofit attorney. And I will tell you, when we made that a first initial, step, it's not that we knew we were going to get a nonprofit, but we were doing our homework to make sure we were legally right and constitutionally right. We're fighting for constitutional rights that are being stripped away. And luckily, we had a bunch of attorneys approach us, and we ended up securing Liberty Justice Center. And they've been the hugest blessing, because even when we turned around and sued the state after, AB 1955 was introduced, the law to prevent parents from knowing if their child transitions their, I don't like to use their language, so their sex at school, which is not even possible. They helped us with that one too. So luckily, and with that said, we've had other districts, we've been able to connect them with Liberty Justice if they wanted to do the same thing. And we do have some districts fighting the good fight alongside us, which is great, because, the strength is in the numbers. And unfortunately, the unions are coming after us, but I think it's bringing awareness. Look, when AB 1955 hit, we can't look at it as, oh my God, the world's ending. Oh my God, what a blessing. More people get to know what we're fighting on the ground. I mean, when Elon Musk tweeted about it and he's pulling his company out, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, right? Is what he said. That woke up a lot more people. Now I just hope those people put themselves into action like we did a few years ago and they get in the fight. So I think these things are actually a blessing in disguise because it's allowing us normal day-to-day people who are never involved in politics to know what they're doing. Look, our streets are becoming violent just walking down the street. You have to be careful when we were younger, besides my dad, he's from the Middle East. I wasn't really allowed to do much as a girl. Not saying that it hasn't evolved. Trust me, my kids, my dad lives with us. He loves my kids and he sees them come in and out, but they're responsible. But with that said, it's not the same anymore, right? They've created a land of lawlessness. They've created a land where you can't even go into the grocery store without sometimes worrying about locking your door because someone might steal something. It's just crazy. I mean, I know I'm going on a rant, but
as long as you have more than $950 inside your car,
yeah,
you're fine. If it's under $950, then yeah, you got to lock your doors.
You got to lock your doors, right?
But
Newsom's been trying. Didn't he sign something into law?
Man,
you know why he's doing that, right?
Of course he's
because he's trying to cover it up and trying to make it look like he's doing something when he really. Okay,
he signed. There was that one assembly bill Anthony Portantino tried to push into wait, what do you call it? He tried to push it in Sacramento. I forgot which one it was. AB 956.
I don't remember the number.
Or whatever, or SB 9, some stupid bill.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God it didn't get signed by Newsom.
Yeah.
AB 1955 was signed by him, right? That one's already it's law now.
Yeah.
So he passes that. Now what he's doing is he's going in, he's saying, oh, look, we're cleaning up the homeless. Oh, now you can no longer do the smash and grabs. Is that what you're looking for?
The smash and grab, yeah.
He can't do the smash and grabs anymore. So he's trying, he did one thing against.
He's gaslighting.
Yeah, he did one thing against the right.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes in there, he goes, but look, although I did this, look what I'm doing. I'm cleaning up California now. It's like, bro, who are you kidding?
Yeah.
Who are you kidding? Him, that whole show with him going out there and cleaning up the streets.
That was embarrassing.
That was embarrassing.
Come on now.
That
was so embarrassing.
That was a complete PR stunt.
Yeah.
If you want to clean up the streets, how would you go to Skid Row and clean up the streets?
Yeah.
How would you walk the streets of Skid Row and clean up there? You won't, because you're probably terrified to go walk on Skid Row because you'll see the damage that you've created.
They've created so much. I mean, look at SB 14, Shannon Grove's bill, to make these sexual predators and selling children like a really criminal defense.
It's human trafficking.
But look at right now, you get a slap on your hand, right? She's trying to make it to where they actually get held as a actual criminal and spend time in jail and have
the fact
they're
that
fighting her right now, tooth and nail.
The fact that she's trying to create punishment for something that
is the most horrendous crime.
Exactly.
These are children.
Exactly.
And we're fighting over making sure that we hold these criminals responsible.
I mean, Armand will concur with me. Anybody who touches a child in any sort of sexual way, castrated and killed. You concur?
Torture, and then yes.
Yeah.
I mean, look at our prisons though too. Chino prison is in our community.
There's a reason why they separate the pedophiles from the other criminals.
Yeah, well.
But see, have you ever had conversation with these people who advocate for these laws? Like, because I never have to understand.
They won't talk to you. I've tried.
Like, what are you thinking? I mean, do you have children? Do you have?
Most of them don't. Look at Scott Wiener. Where's his kids? He doesn't have kids. He calls our kids his kids. These people are sick in the head.
Yeah.
He literally calls them our kids. I'm like, stop saying our kids. These are not your kids, weirdo. But what they're doing is making these laws so they become kids. Look at all the laws that passed last year, right? You have kids being taken away from parents. That's a law now if you don't affirm their gender. And then goes into what? What are we building right now here in California? Who's the pilot program for community schools? People need to be aware. Look at Tony Thurman. He's going out with the, assemblymen and senators and our taxpayer dollars to go house activist teachers to become one. You're supposed to become one, right? Like take care of the whole child. What the heck is take care of the whole child at school? That's our responsibility as parents. I'm sending my kid to learn. Now, go back to childhood. I understand there's children who go through some traumatic things. Me and my siblings went through a crazy traumatic life. Not all people have that luxury of having great parents who take care of their whole needs. But that's why we have free food. And that's why we offer things like that, right? My meal sometimes was the meal that you get at school. If I wasn't taking care of my siblings, if I was taking care of them at home, I didn't get to go to school and eat that day sometimes because my mom was selling, food stamps for drugs. But the point is, when they say, let's take care of the whole child and they're building schools with housing on it, wake the heck up. They're making laws to take away your child. They're pushing a ideology in the classroom to confuse the kids and tell them that they can change their gender. They can change this, that, and the other. What the heck are we creating? Take over the children. This is not a conspiracy theory. Go look at all the things I'm saying. It's all true.
So
it's
they
all
basically
here.
want to convert schools into foster care
That's
facilities.
what, I mean, the writing's on the wall. What is a community school? They're going to house them. They're going to feed them. They're going to house the teachers. What the heck is this? It's like communist country, which most of our parents, including mine, my dad, he escaped from that kind of environment, right? To come here to a great America. Like, whoever thought saying, let's make America great again is such a controversial
You
issue.
can't say
That's
that.
sick.
Well,
So,
Biden
yeah.
almost said it.
So, yeah, you can't say that.
Come on now.
Come on,
Biden,
you're making my blood pressure go up.
Biden almost said it, but then he caught himself. He goes, let's make America. Come on now, people.
Oh, my
It's like,
God.
bro, just say it. There's nothing wrong with
It's
saying
okay.
it.
Just say it, Joy. Just say it, man.
I mean, speaking of Joe, where is Joe Biden? But anyways,
We don't have a president right now.
We have no
Seriously,
idea.
it's like a vacant position.
Isn't it
Do
crazy?
we have an interim president?
He just gave up his platform for Kamala to go
Well,
and
apparently
campaign.
he's going to speak at
I mean,
the
he's 6
DNC.
inches taller now.
Is it?
6 inches
Oh.
taller.
The DNC is going on right now. Today's
Is it him? And you're like 6 inches taller.
well, more like 6. He's like 6'7" now, bro. He could probably
You
guard
know-
LeBron James.
All seriousness, his family should be held responsible for.
Jill Biden. I said this a long time
But
ago.
let's be real. Criminals are not held responsible anymore, so they're praised.
No, of course.
Well, his son. Look at his son.
Yeah, that's scary.
But you've got tough skin for doing what you're doing.
Do I?
You do, and I think it comes from.
I think we all do. That should be the message.
Well, you and I had a text conversation
Yeah.
regarding your tough skin. I was like, holy shit, bro. I think your skin is much tougher than all three of ours combined because you went through something that I would not wish upon anybody. And especially, as a child, there's a lot of people that say, I helped raise my siblings.
Yeah.
And it's because either, mom and dad were sick or they weren't able to work or
Yeah.
they moved from one country to another and it's tough times, but your scenario was insane. You kind of dive into it because you said it, your dad was from another country. Where's your dad from originally?
He was Jerusalem. They're Christians from Jerusalem. My Bibi and Jitho spoke Aramaic. So I think the closest when I've tried to find out, I just recently, the last couple of years, have asked my aunts, but I guess they were scared because, our cousins my dad's cousins and stuff were being killed over there. But, because, they were killing Christians over there too. And you guys
So
know about that
is
because
he a Syrian or
Syrian.
yes, he's a Syrian.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the closest that I could say that.
You guys are practically cousins of Armenians.
That's what I know. We've been through a lot together. Come on already.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's beautiful is that when we all get brought together. And I think that's what, it's in our blood. I say it all the time. It's in our blood, right? We're fighters by heart. My Bibi used to get shot at while she was trying to go get food for, my dad and, his 7 siblings. So I come from, blood of good fighters. But with that said, my dad did come from another country. He joined the military over here. The family came over and they opened businesses. I mean, they did everything, responsibly and great. You ask my dad what he is. American. We're American. We love America, right? And there is that perception of, he has like, hey, Sonja, don't be too loud. Now he's like, I see you on TV. I'm in my room and I see you on TV. Oh, good job. And I'm like, okay, that was my dad telling me to be quiet a couple of years ago, right? I take care of my dad. I still take care of him because my dad also has a heart. When I was younger, my mom is from Illinois. She came out here to California. She ran away from home, I think, at 17. My dad met her at the donut shop that my family ended up opening, my dad's family. And long story short, they ended up falling in love, but it was a culture clash, right? My dad wanted certain things, and I understand that. Like, And my mom just wasn't having any of that. Long story short, my mom had a wild heart. She ended up taking all of us in the middle of the night. I think I was 7 at the time. So I had a kind of good 7 years. I mean, they were fighting a lot, but I would say good in comparison to the rest. And she took us and we went to San Bernardino shelters, women battered shelters. And we outstayed 2 of them that were available. And then she met this guy who was on meth and heroin, and she became involved in that lifestyle. We ended up living in a little tiny shack. She had 2 babies that I think my sisters are not even 10 months apart, my half sisters, which I barely found a few years ago. But during that time, when my mom she was shooting up heroin, I would walk in the room and there's the needle stuck in her arm and there was, Coke on the table. It was bad. I used to bury the needles with my sister. I have my brother, I won't say their names, but my brother and my sister from my dad, and then 2 other sisters from my mom and this guy. And with that said, 2 newborns in the house. I was taking care of them. My sister was taking care of them. My brother was only 5 at the time. He was running the streets in, Fontana at that time. We moved over there, not in the greatest area of Fontana. I know Fontana has a great development coming up and they're cleaning stuff up over there. But back in the day, we lived a different lifestyle. People were coming in, buying drugs in our home, and food stamps were being sold for drugs. And school was our place where we got fed if I was lucky enough to go to school some days. But with that said, I don't ever look back. I mean, I think that's the problem is, when we have that so-called victim mentality, oh, poor us, then we stop fighting, right, for what's right. But my mom ended up passing away. My sister swallowed drugs. We got put in foster care. My dad was still actively looking for us during that time my mom left. He didn't even know where we were. But my dad wasn't the kind to go take her through court and everything. He was trying to get her back and promise her the world and say, he was really being sincere. You could do whatever you want. You can go wherever you want. I won't control that stuff anymore. And I remember him letting her come over for dinner. She was going through all her classes and stuff. She was still on drugs. And I remember him making a promise. She said when she was done with her classes, she would come back and we would be a family. Long story short, she got in an accident on the back of the motorcycle with that guy, pregnant 5 months, and she died. She was under the influence at that time. But without getting emotional, from that point on, it was me, Gina, and Tony. I said their names. My brother and sister with my dad. My dad worked 7 days a week, 7 to 7 for his family's business. He worked his butt off, but we raised ourselves, right? I still joke around because my dad lives with us and I say I raised my dad. I'm still raising my dad. He has heart failure. He has schizophrenia. He still has a broken heart from my mom. I mean, he loved her with all his heart. That's why, me and my husband take care of my dad. But I get it. There is kids that don't have great involved parents, right? But the fact is they still have parents that love them. And I think that's why we need to fight the good fight for these kids and families. I mean, the world is broken. I'm not trying to hide that. But the fact is we all have a story. And I think through that, like people will say, oh, you have tough skin. Well, so do you. You still have a story. You still have a family to protect. I'm no different than any of you. I still have same fears, but at the end, I give it to God. If he's going to take me through it, I have my days where I'm like, I'm done. Like I can't handle anymore. These people are vicious, but that's what they want, guys. They want us to give up. They want control. And I think at the end of the day, we just need to remember what is at stake. Why did our families come here? For a great life, for future, for their kids, right? America is beautiful, but it's being destroyed by people who have no good intent. I mean, these people are Marxists. They're everything they call us, everything they do is what they are. They're gross. They're just, I love to use the word disgusting because they're disgusting.
They're weird.
Weird. Hey, we're all weird, but we're weird in a good way. Let's be real.
No, I mean,
we're crazy, but in a good way.
Like I said, what's your reaction to that story?
I can get into detail, but I saw his eyes tearing up. I didn't want to do that to him on film.
He's the sensitive.
See, now it is getting hot in here.
No, you're going to offend people with that shirt. By the way.
I don't care. I don't care who I offend.
I love the shirt.
I've actually never seen that shirt.
You never seen that shirt? One of the moms bought it for me. Isn't it great?
So it's Donald Trump.
Hey.
He's wearing pink sunglasses, and he's blowing a bubble.
That's such
a
cool
pink
shirt.
bubblegum bubble.
Because you know what? When the left comes at us, I'm like, come punch me. You don't even punch hard enough. Let's go. Let's do it again. Like, why are we so afraid to love our country, to fight for families, or to offend the crazy people who are always offended by anything anyways, right? We're always those people like, you can't say anything. Should I wear this shirt? Should I? And at the end, we all surround ourselves with good, amazing people who love this country and are fighting for our constitutional rights, what our country was founded on. We believe and love God. I mean, but at the end, I think we just need to support each other because it does get rough. And sometimes you're like, crap, I'm going to walk into that fire. You better be walking in there with me. And then Jesus, please send the Holy Spirit to protect me, right? But at the end of the day, I just, you said it. I watched one of your clips on social media when somebody, I think it was you, and you said, I'm for whoever is making America great.
No, well, I said whoever's good for America.
Good for America.
I specifically didn't want to
use
whoever's going to make America great again because you'd be like,
what did they say?
So you're a Trump guy, huh?
But why I mean, if that's the person that we have right now,
right?
That's.
I mean,
make America great again. I'm just going to say it because I don't need to know.
He didn't even say that. That's the thing. He didn't say make America great.
Who's ever great for America?
I said whoever.
But automatically it triggers them.
I didn't even say great. I said whoever is good for America.
Good for America.
I didn't say great.
Okay.
I specifically remember because after that conversation, I thought, damn, if I only had access to Donald Trump, I would literally call him and say, listen, I think I've got a new campaign story for you. Run with this story. Because it's one of the best stories I've ever. I sound like Trump. That's one of the best stories.
It's an amazing story.
It's
probably one of the best. It's probably one of the best stories that we've ever had.
But honestly, it is like a 103-year-old woman who's all with it, 100% coherent, says, "Who are you supporting?" I say, "Whoever's good for America." And you say, "So you're a Trump guy?" End of story. I mean,
she
look,
already knew them, right?
Huh?
She already knew.
No, but that's my point. Is
yeah.
But why is that bad?
Yeah. If I said,
isn't it mind blowing?
Yeah. If I said, look, I support anybody that wants to cut my son's penis off, and then, so you're a Biden guy.
That is so true. Or somebody who is sacrificing babies in the DNC right now.
My type of Democrat.
Yeah, that's the comparison, right?
What the heck is wrong with these people? It's like so diabolical, right?
Whoever's willing to fight for freedom and bring back a strong economy and $2 gas prices.
Yes. Is that?
I think that's Trump calling you.
Oh shoot!
Is it?
Is that Trump?
Just tell him I'll call him later.
Trump, hey, can you put him on Bluetooth? Put him on Bluetooth.
You know what's funny?
Sonia, I heard you're on the Wise Nuts.
I heard that greatest story.
I heard it's the greatest podcast. Who's
Dude,
that
your
guy
voice.
over there? Who's that guy? Armand.
Okay. Is that mine?
It's Trump. He really wants to talk to us.
Don't worry, bro. I'll get you. I'll call you back later.
Yeah, we'll get you on the show. Don't worry.
Look, it's funny we talk about, why we want the best for America, right? Obviously, we got some people sitting in the back with us as well. And I'm looking around the room and we're all
normal
immigrants.
People.
we're all immigrants.
But that's the beautiful part of America, right?
I know it is. But listen to this. We're all immigrants who've seen or have heard stories of where our families came from and how they left wherever they came from in order to have a better life here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to enjoy that better life here. But the people who were practically raised here are the ones that are ruining it, unfortunately. And I'm not saying all of them.
Yeah.
It's a small number of them, but those are the ones. And they've brainwashed the school system, especially the colleges, especially the colleges and the university system, in order to turn these kids against America.
I think they keep snoozing it.
Oh, do they? Is that an
Trump.
alarm?
10 more minutes.
Oh, there you go. There you go. But yeah, they've turned unfortunately our children or our college students against the country because they give them all these false hope and these false promises that, if you graduate from university, well, all the debt that you've accumulated, we'll go ahead and we'll wash that for you. All right.
I support you.
I support you. So have you?
But you know why
have they done it? No, they haven't.
They want you dependent on the system because
then
you won't bite the system.
They do the same thing with the
realized
welfare
what that
system.
was. My kids have me on Find My Phone, and if I don't answer my text messages or phone, because of everything that's been happening, they start doing the alert. Cause I'm like, that alert sounds familiar. It's happened to me in meetings. And they do the
Oh.
Find My Phone because it's like, Mom, we're checking on you. You haven't checked in.
You're right. That is the
That is their
alarm.
Find My
it's the
Phone.
Life
Life
That is
360
my children,
Yeah.
guys. That's my kids saying,
Let-
Mom, are you safe?
Let
Well,
him know
we sh-
mom is with the uncles at Wise Nuts.
We should have.
Right.
We should have gave. You know what? Because she's seen the show before, and the one thing that she was worried about was the cursing, which we've been actually good today.
You guys have been really good.
We've-
See, that's
we've
my
been
children.
great.
Just turn my phone off.
We've
Just
been
hold it and turn it off. It's my kids.
is okay.
Sorry, guys.
Well, we don't
I'm
want-
so
hold on.
sorry.
You know what? We don't want to scare them though.
Yeah,
I
you don't
think-
want them to be. Just let them know.
I really think. Look, it's not a problem. Listen, this is a casual show. As guests.
Yeah,
if you want,
if you want to
literally
respond, feel
let
free
them
to
let them
just,
know you're live on the show and give them the link. We won't be cussing on the show tonight.
And you can go to the sponsor while she does that.
No, you guys have been really good.
Do it while I go to the sponsor.
I was a
We
little like,
haven't cussed, huh?
I'm so proud of you. You guys don't have. I'm not. I don't
we
have
don't
to
cuss that
disciplinary
We
much. No.
don't
action.
curse that much.
We used to initially, like the first couple of years, and I think we've.
Yeah, I
mellowed
think it was
down,
that fourth guy that left.
Yeah.
When you were angry.
Yeah.
You want to throw it to me?
Do me a favor. Yeah.
Bring it to her. It's
Bring
okay.
it to her. She's gonna answer that while we go to the sponsor.
Okay.
So today's show is brought to you by Armand Gregorian, the law offices of Armand Gregorian.
Armand. Sounds like Armand Gregorian.
I didn't say
They're
Armand.
gonna start calling me.
No.
Hey, buddy.
No, we didn't say Armand. We said Armand Gregorian, the law offices of Armand Gregorian. If you've been involved in an accident and you need the right attorney to represent you, and you need someone on call. And again, we said this in the beginning. We said it last show. We're going to say it again. Literally on call. If you need somebody there for you, their cell phone number is available. You pick it up. You text. You call Armand 818-404-0333. 818-404-0333. The law offices of Armand Gregorian. He will literally fight for you. And if you're involved in an accident and you need to reach him right away, give him a call, give him a text. Listen, even if you're on the freeway and you get into the accident and you don't know what to say, plead the fifth. Don't say anything. Call Armand, text Armand, tell him you've been in an accident, snap photos of the entire accident, send it to him.
And that actually happened. I was having cigars here
Yes.
with him on Friday at the Glen Ellyn Club on Arden. And he literally got a couple of calls, but one of them was, I guess, an accident. And he's like, why don't you send me some pictures of it right now? I'll take a look at it and tell you what you need to do. As we're sitting down here having a cigar. So whatever, look, when we have sponsors, we're not just, promoting them for shits and giggles. Literally, like, if we didn't believe Armand is one of the best accident attorneys out there, the three of us, we don't need the money, right? We don't need the sponsor.
We wouldn't be speaking about it.
You think I want to say a name nonstop?
No, yeah, we wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, it's not like some random solar company.
Honest truth, I mean, we were sitting down here having cigars. The guy picks up his phone and he's handling a case right in front of me. And JJ was here. I'm sure JJ could attest to it if he's in the comment section.
Yeah, I was supposed to be here and I could vouch for it as well. But, again, guys,
Arna was fighting his liberal neighbor
unfortunately.
because the neighbor overused the water.
Yeah, and he mows his lawn with a power
Electric
lawnmower. He literally plugs it into the wall and he mows his lawn. Yeah, it's the funniest thing you'll ever see.
Is it?
Gosh.
How the hell? I was just kidding about that. I didn't even know you have a neighbor who does that.
Bro,
Wait.
He has a
That's
Tesla
because,
wall.
gas blowers are you can't. They're Newsom made them illegal.
Okay, look,
Yeah.
you could. I have a battery powered
'Cause we
leaf
all
blower. You know what? Let me finish this and we'll get into
Yeah.
that. So
Okay.
Armand Gregorian, if you've been in an accident, call Armand 818-404-0333. Law offices of Armand Gregorian. You won't regret it. And mention the Wise Nuts, and he'll take super super care of you. Not that he won't if you don't call him, but mention the Wise Nuts, and you get VIP treatment.
Because we get 80% kickback. That's why.
Oh,
I'm
God,
kidding. I'm
God,
kidding, guys.
God.
I'm kidding.
But yeah, it's hilarious. When we first moved into that neighborhood, we go around, we introduce each other, we introduce ourselves to the neighbors. Hi, how are you guys? And everybody was great. And you didn't get that vibe from this dude. And he was like a tall guy. Now
What vibe?
Like
he thinks it's
friendly
weird.
neighborhood.
The guy that uses. He's long.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. So it was
No one knows what you're talking about, by the way. Just so you know.
We're talking about my neighbor.
Electrical.
Oh,
The
okay.
electric
That's what it
lawnmower.
sounds
Electric
like.
lawnmower.
Yeah, electric
Okay,
lawnmower.
never mind.
And then this one day I go outside. I'm taking the trash out, and I look over, and this guy's like pulling this cord, while with his other hand he's
Oh, it's
pushing
not Bluetooth.
and he's pushing the lawnmower, and I'm watching this with my coffee in my hand and the trash in the other, and I'm just like, is this guy really mowing his lawn with an electric lawnmower? And all you hear is because it obviously it's electrical, so it doesn't make the gas noise. And I go inside and I tell my wife, I'm like, our neighbor's mowing his lawn with an electrical lawnmower. She
Tell
goes,
him to put it down.
and she goes, "Oh, is it battery powered?" I'm like, "No, he's just like literally
I've never even
pulling
seen
the ice.
those.
You guys are gonna see it on the Wise Nuts
I think
page
it's
when I can get
3D
it from
printed,
her.
right?
Oh God, man. Oh yeah, but it's I don't know. I can't handle that stuff. But he's an environmentalist apparently.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's for the global warming.
Yeah.
He's against global warming.
Yeah. Good.
Hey.
But yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
go there.
just tell him to watch
Why
the
not?
Thank you.
I'm not
Courtney.
gonna go there.
What, do you believe in global warming?
No, look at.
Why
what's
not?
fun-
It was hot this
look
week.
Look at. This
It was
is funny
hot
because
this
they
week.
said you were talking about the. Oh gosh, I'm gonna get in so much trouble.
Well, you
We
don't
talk
want to
about
get you in
the-
trouble.
Party earlier, and there's consultants telling Republican candidates, and I know this for sure because some of these candidates are my friend. Don't talk about parental rights. Don't mess with it. The voters don't care about that. They care about global warming. California.
That's a Republican saying that?
Well, I don't look at. They were telling Republican candidates, and these are consultants paid by the Republican
Consultants,
candidates, right? So they're
Oh,
telling the
consultants,
Republicans,
yeah.
don't bring up parent rights. It's about global. So when you said that, I'm like, oh man, here we go again. They're telling people, don't bring up the parent thing. We got to talk about global warming, guys, to win these elections. And I'm like, what the frick are we doing over here?
These people don't understand that global warming is the biggest scam across the entire world. If global warming was real, because mind you, how long have they been talking about the ice caps melting and flooding the earth? And listen, there are billions of dollars, and I could vouch for this because I'm in the real estate industry, billions of dollars being dumped into high rises being built in New York, in Miami, in LA, everywhere. And speaking of Miami, if those ice caps melt, one of the first places to go is Miami. You really think that these billionaires would dump that much money into a state or a city, knowing that, oh, you know what? Greta Thunberg was right. In about 10 years, Miami's going to be completely underwater. No, it's not going to happen. Global warming is a scam. I mean, that's my 2 cents.
That's not what George Carlin said.
That's not what Al Gore said either.
No. I wish we could
Well,
play.
he was on his private jet.
I wish we could play
Right?
George Carlin's skit right now, man, about global warming. That guy, I swear that guy predicted everything.
Really?
Have you followed George Carlin?
No.
You haven't?
my
Dude,
God.
every day I'm learning like new things in
George
this
Carlin
world.
He was ahead of his time.
I
He's-
mean, he was a comedian.
Okay.
Probably, you know how they say GOAT,
So
greatest
it's kind
of
of
all
like
time.
The Simpsons when they predicted everything.
Yeah,
well,
but
hold on, Joe. Can you open up a new tab and see if you can find George Carlin
gonna try that.
YouTube? What's it
global
called?
warming.
Global warming.
Yeah, it's or climate something. This guy was
Everything he said.
He's one of the best, if not the best, comedian in the last century. He passed away, unfortunately. When was it? Like 2000?
It was
11 or-
like way before.
Yeah, I got to see him live one time, but I've watched all his videos hundreds of times. I mean, the guy.
I'll have to look it
He
up.
talks about politics. He talks about global warming. He talks about all this gender stuff. And some of these videos are 25, 30 years ago, 30 years old.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
talks about germs and how like when he was kids they would play in like raw sewage and he's
Not
like,
best moments show. Just put
no,
climate change.
or global warming.
Yeah.
All right.
Either one of those.
Okay.
I'm blind from here, so I
Joe's
can't.
used to other websites. That's why he automatically goes to best moments.
It's like you
We're
with
looking for
Joe's
a
laptop, you push P right away. You know where it's going.
We're looking for a comedy skit, Joe.
I got it. Just
Yes.
you continue with the show. I'll
moments.
take care of the.
Yeah, not the stepmom. Sorry, Sonja. Sorry.
I'm just chilling.
Yeah, we've been okay. We've been okay.
We've been good.
Better behave.
Yeah,
I
no.
believe in discipline over here.
No, we're fine.
Okay.
fine.
I'm just kidding.
We're good. So while Joe's looking that up, let's dive into. Well, we did 1955, right?
Kind of.
We did. So kind of.
We did. Did we? Did we really talk about it? We kind of branched out a little bit.
Well, do you want to elaborate on AB 1955? Because
I mean,
we very lightly dabbled with it with Alex because I wanted to leave it for you because obviously you're with the school board.
do you feel like we covered it enough? Yeah.
Did we? Okay. So unfortunately, it was passed, but
There's parents, multiple lawsuits, suing,
in from Chino Valley.
and from other communities. And mind you, when we sued the state, we still have an active lawsuit, right? They're still suing us. Then we opened up a suit against them. And I, as an elected official, what did I do? I took an oath to
Yes.
protect the Constitution of the state's Constitution, and the U.S. Constitution. Parents have a constitutional right in the upbringing of their children, right?
Yes.
And now the state's saying, no, you don't, not in regards to this. Regardless, you have multiple lawsuits, including ours, that have parents from communities in California. We just had a couple boards join our lawsuit in particular, but you also have the Marabelli lawsuit going on with those two teachers.
Yes.
The
I've
judge
heard
just
of that one.
granted also for them to open up a class action type thing. I don't know what the details are. Certainly happened. And the good thing is parents can get on board and be part of that too. So no matter what, the most beautiful part is you're pushing back, right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to sue your state to be involved in your kid's life. That's
No.
just crazy. That's not even common sense. When you drop off little Johnny, you're not like, bye, Johnny. I hope you keep secrets with your teacher today. No, that doesn't happen. That's freaking weird. Any parent that says that, look, I've sat in literally like a seat distance with my opposition in interviews. They will never show you the back and forth. My question is always, you're a parent. If you're a parent, are you okay with the schools keeping secrets from you? No one answers it. Let's take the boys and the girls sports and vice versa. I mean, I asked a current board member that fights against us with all this. Okay, so you're okay with your granddaughter seeing a male's penis in the locker room? No answer. Why? Because they will not answer that because
They can't say yes.
They can't say yes. And if they say yes, they're freaking weird and they know it. They won't say it out loud, but why fight us? And then people say, you're making these issues up. Oh, okay, we're making it up. Then why did the state just bring a law to stop us from informing parents? Why do school districts, go look in almost every school district in California, minus the few that parents have ran or community grandma and grandpas ran and switched the board majorities. It's not very many. Let's be real. You look at what they're doing to the few of us that are, right? But let's just say, let's take those. Let's get those out. That's a couple handfuls, if that. And then let's take the rest of California school districts, California School Board Association. Let's not let them off the hook. They are the ones that give most districts policies to push forward. And according to whatever law comes down or whatever they want, they push them forward. Most school districts in California still have what we call the secret policy that keeps secrets in this particular case when your child wants to change their sex or try to change their sex at school. Why do schools have policies that keep secrets in regards to this? That's what I'm trying to say. It's a deeper issue.
It's a lack of transparency.
And if you're not aware of this, they're going to make you feel like you're a crazy person. You're a far right extremist,
Well, yeah, they label you as a Nazi, a crazy.
Oh, I've been a
right-wing-
Nazi, I don't even know what half of this crap that they call me is, and I don't really care. And I never, like the sexually explicit books. Why is the union fighting us, telling parents we're banning books when we're really just getting sexually explicit material, which you guys seen in your own board meetings, your parents come and read?
Well, speaking of that was actually going to be the next topic.
Well, there you go.
Exactly. So there was, going back to banning books, and we'll jump to
And
this
don't
topic.
ever acknowledge what they say. You are taking sexually explicit material out of the hands of children. They want sexually explicit material in the hands of children. No one's trying to ban, Johnny woke up in the morning to a beautiful sunshine book. No one's banning these books that, we've all grown up to read here in the United States.
They've taken one of the most innocent things in the world, and they're trying to mold it and manipulate it into something that they want.
They're pushing their ideologies, trying to plant the seeds in these children, their young minds. Most kids don't go home and tell you everything they've learned. That's kind of impossible with the way families are designed to be both working mom and dad,
Yeah. So we talk about book banning. 2 years ago, when we wanted certain books pulled off the shelves, they called us Nazis. They called us, book banners.
Yeah.
I can't believe these book banners are back here. Why are we banning books? Blah, 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 blah. Long behold, a book from the Glendale Unified School District, Glendale High School's library was finally pulled from the shelves. Now, would you call that banning books?
No, you pulled sexually explicit material out of the hands of the kids because it never belonged there to begin with.
Correct. So
From the high school.
Correct, from a high school. But we'll read we'll pull up some of the dialogue from that book. But they called us book banners. We said, no, we're not trying to ban the book. You can go read it. You can go read it to your grandma for all I care, but we don't want our children seeing it. So can we pull it off the shelves? When we say pull it off the shelves, they say, oh, you're trying to ban the book. No. Again, we're saying just pull it off the shelf. We don't want our kids to see it. Now, this book, what was it called again? Here we go. It was a textbook from Glendale High School. It was called
Something Frontier, no?
Yeah, something Frontier. Hold on.
I think I have a.
I got
You know who has a list of books for
I got
parents
2
and
pages of
it's
it, that's
by school district and it shows?
Feminist Frontiers 10th edition. I'm surprised they got to the 10th edition of this shit.
I
Dang.
wonder what the first 9 are like.
I don't know, man, but
Ray,
And where are
Ray,
they?
have you seen the first 9?
I don't know.
Hey,
but,
the first 9 were probably a warm up to what the 10th one was.
but February of 2022, our masked up board members approved this book to be distributed to Glendale High School,
Dang.
the school that
So they didn't just bring it in. They approved
Oh,
it,
yeah.
stamped it. Let's take it to all the classrooms.
and there was emails. Joe, could you pull up the email really quickly?
Right
So
here, I got
there
the
it is.
email.
Chris Coulter, that guy sounds familiar. That's the guy that basically, sent out this email approving the book. It says basically February of 2022. And some of the shit in this, Ray Shelton, who was a teacher that was removed from GUSD, who was terminated
Mhm.
because he stood up against what's going on, this indoctrination,
Mhm.
who's also a gay man, who was against all this, indoctrination,
Well,
stood up
he
for
brought
it.
this up with the school board.
Oh,
no?
so he
Yeah.
raised the flag and said, guys,
Yeah.
pay attention.
Yes. So he brought it up. He went to the school board meeting and he actually read some of the.
Do you want me to?
Can you?
I can bring up a
Can you-
few. Yeah, sure.
Can you pull up one of them really quickly, Joe?
Yeah, for
I hope I
Here's
could.
one.
I hope I could see it. Arm, can you see it?
Yeah, I
Butt
can.
smoke.
Okay.
I could see it.
I'm
You
a
want me
little-
to read it?
All right. So
I'm
again,
a little
wait,
embarrassed to read it.
I know
but,
that's what I was about to say. We're sorry.
No. Look at you want to know the most beautiful part? Parents took books in our school district, read them at the podium, and I watched an audience of adults cringe, cover their ears, freak out. Me, I was sick to my stomach, but I would never stop them from reading it in a public meeting. If you're going to allow it in the hands of children, then by all means, make you all feel uncomfortable. You deserve to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, but the fact that we're apologizing ahead of time.
It's because you're a gentleman and you're saying this is really inappropriate for a woman, an adult woman to hear, let alone a child.
I'm about to make all of you feel very uncomfortable. So,
And especially with
Here
your
we
voice.
go.
Go ahead.
Oh, no.
Straight.
butt, smoke, and stroke. 420. Any other hot straight dudes want to smoke out, kick back, and jack off to some hot porn? Like to kick it with another bro and work out a load together? We'll just be jacking only. No making out, no touching, no anal bullshit, and smoking out.
You know when,
There's more.
dude, people used to get in trouble for reading this crap in front of kids.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Now you get
you're
the
having-
velvet. What's that thing that they give you at the White House? The honorary,
The Presidential
Oh,
Medal
purple-
of Honor.
I don't know what he's
President.
talking
Purple
about.
Heart.
the Purple Heart. Yeah, the one that Weinstein got, and
No, that's the Presidential Medal of Honor or whatever the hell it's called. The
Okay.
Purple Heart is when you get
Weinstein,
when
the
you
one
get
that makes
injured.
$500,000 without her, whatchamacallit, benefits. to be the president of the biggest teachers union ever? Is that who you're talking
No,
about?
no. He was a movie producer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey
Well,
Weinstein.
Good. People should know about that chick too.
Yeah, it was Harvey.
What's her name? Weingarten or whatever her friggin' name is.
Harvey Weinstein.
Weingarten.
Okay.
Harvey Weinstein.
There goes my brain.
Yeah. Oprah Winfrey was one of them. Bill Gates was another. Oh, look, it's a bunch of psychotic left wing.
He wants to read more of these books, though.
All right, you go pull up another one. Joe.
Sorry, guys, I haven't read the last week, so my English is a little off. Let's continue. Laid back straight guy seeks same for jack off, jerk off buddy. Easygoing straight Caucasian male seeks same looking for a buddy stroke with who enjoys straight porn and sex with women, but who is cool and open minded. I'm not gay, but do like to show off and have done some bi stuff in the past. Interested in jerk off only. I'm in shape and attractive, and this is no big deal to me. Don't have girlfriend right now and wanted to get off today, so hit me back if interested.
And then the last one.
Is this supposed to be a story or what are these?
I think people. Wait, can you?
Yeah, can you pull that last one up?
No, what are you doing?
What?
Yeah.
Bro, come on, man.
I mean, we need people. Listen, I know.
No, people really should be aware.
People
of what
need
you're
to
saying.
see this shit.
And I agree.
People need to see this shit.
And then I want to give you a tool for parents to use.
Yeah, let's mute Sonja's headset. She's too young for this one. It's no go for her.
Are you gonna read this one?
All right, that last one is pretty vulgar. We'll just leave it up on the screen.
How about we just? I mean, people are getting the point.
Okay, we're not gonna read that one out loud.
No, go ahead. It's fine. I'll cover my ears. Go.
Oh, jeez.
I hope this makes a parent go to the freaking school district that their kids are in and make sure they don't have it.
Well, thank God this damn book was pulled off the
from
shelves.
one school district, how many more might have it?
Well, okay, here's...
God forbid you try to get this out of the hand of kids.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, PSA, there is a book out there possibly out there or allegedly out there at your local high schools. It's called Feminist Frontiers. It's the 10th edition. It was recently pulled from Glendale Unified School District's Glendale High School. And it might be in your high school. It might be in your middle school. I don't know. But if you are a parent and you're concerned and you saw what Armand just read and you saw that last one, which we're not even going to read because it's very, very uncomfortable.
But he's mad he can't read it now.
Yeah, now I'm upset.
No.
Hey, they need to go to Karen England's Kitchen Table Activist site. She tells you what books like these are in what districts so you can go fight it.
Well, there you
and
go.
her and I worked on a policy together. She brought like a policy and then I gave it to our superintendent and he made actually just adjustments to our current policy to enforce it, but more when it comes to these things. But everything is over there. All the tools. That's her heart's mission is to make sure kids don't have this.
What was it again?
Karen England,
Okay.
the kitchen table activist. Absolutely amazing for parents to be able to see what books are in their own school district. And how you highlighted it?
Mm-hmm.
She highlights it. And she
Perfect.
travels all over the nation showing even conservative school boards members, these are in your school.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, are you able to pin that in the comment section? The name?
No, it's a screenshot.
No,
he's talking about Karen England's kitchen table activist.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, well, actually, you know what we'll do? If Joe can type it up and pin it, we could pin it. If not, if you're watching this,
I think you could probably tag her, but I don't know.
If you're watching this after hours, if you scroll down to where the thumbnails are, we'll go ahead and put her information.
It's just an ezy tool for parents to see, and they could check, and they're like, "Wait, hold on, why is this here?"
Yeah, I'll get the information from you so we can put it up.
Yeah,
but we want to thank Mr. Ray Shelton, previous teacher with the Glendale Unified School District, for bringing.
Well, their actual GSD parent says they aren't teaching the book, and this was from an elective. Laughing my ass off.
Because it's an elective, it's okay to have that in the hands of kids and available, because let's be real, most parents don't even know what electives their kids are being put in, and sometimes they're just busy work classes. And let's also let parents know some of these electives that kids are taking are required by the state. Look at health class. Where do you think they push a lot of their crap in the high schools and all their sexual ideologies into? It's through the health class. Now, school districts like ours will barely meet the requirements because we don't believe in pushing those things in, but they are requirements. But I will tell you, my child during the summer, because I didn't want her to take the normal health class, took it through the high school course of the health class through a local college. Absolutely horrifying. At one point, my kid, she's, almost 17. She's like, "Mom, I don't want to read this crap anymore. It's disgusting what they push." So while they laugh and say it's an elective, let's not let's not turn away and say electives aren't requirements to graduate. Sometimes they're requirements.
Let's have them elaborate. I mean, you say you are an actual GUSD parent, so would you be okay with your child
reading that?
And even if it's an elective, they may be encouraged to sign up to that elective because some of their friends are there, or maybe, like you said,
maybe they're filling a class and they don't have another elective available.
I mean, how would you feel as a parent if your child was reading that? Let's say you're a GUSD, they're already 13 or 14?
I mean, they're
I'm not
13,
GUSD at that high school.
High school, they're 13, 14, 15, 16, up to 17 years old.
I mean, it's very important for kids to read about, this jerking
how about
each other off.
Let's just go ahead and read it, because I want that person to. I would love it that person
Any
answers.
straight bi guy wants to help F me, my
No.
F my blow up doll.
Read the whole thing. That's the whole point.
this is in schools. Just say it.
Fine, I'm gonna say it.
Any straight bi guys want to help me fuck my blow up doll? Come on, guys. We can't always pick up the chick we want to bone, right? So let's get together and fuck the hell out of my hot blow up doll. Her mouth, her pussy, and her ass all feel great. Just be cool, uninhibited, horny, and ready to fuck this bitch. It's all good here.
Because
that's
important.
That parent's okay with their child
Let's
reading
see what
that.
he or she has to say.
Please.
I'm curious.
I would love for them to answer.
Or they them. Listen, man, get with the program. We're in 2024.
Yes, or they them. You're right.
Look, you want to talk about.
Cheers to they them.
Yeah, seriously. Listen, you want to talk about sex ed. You want to talk about a kid possibly being gay or bi or whatever it is. Yeah, there's counselors, there's teachers that can speak to your child, but I think the parent should be involved as well.
Absolutely.
It's all about, as you guys say, it's all about educating. Yeah, if your child is possibly gay or bi, there's nothing wrong with it. But the parent,
I'm gonna put up on these posts.
But let's go back to what you said.
But you
hit something great.
But a parent should be involved, because look at it this way. Maybe the parent is not from here. Maybe they have certain morals, certain values, and they need to be, quote unquote, educated to understand what their child is going through.
But again, indoctrinated. Hey, but you said something great. My dad from another country.
Yes.
We went through some trauma in life. The school district recommended that we go with the counselor. We get pulled out of class for an hour so many times a week. And my dad said initially, no. And through the process of him seeing us hurt, the teacher again approached, because me and my siblings were all handling it in different ways. Maybe I internalized it. Maybe my brother might have acted out behavioral wise. Let's be real, that stuff happens. And I know at one point my dad said, well, what are you going to tell them? That their mom's bad? That this? Because my dad was like, no, their mom loved them still, right? Like, and he didn't want people to say that to us. He wanted us to be, your mom always loved you. She was going through a hard time, and I love you. But with that said, what you just said, my dad had control of either the counselor or the therapist talking to us and working with the school, them seeing us hurting in different ways through the classroom or whatever it may be, and them communicating what they were going to tell us. My dad authorized it and said, okay. But he had involvement, not behind my dad's back, right? That's what we're saying. Let the parent be involved in the process. If a kid's going through some trauma and you might have resources, as long as the parent's okaying it, they're reading through and they know what they're signing their kid up for, that's not a problem. But all this stuff that you're doing behind our back, why?
But even if, let's say, you're okay with it, as a grown man, for example, me reading this, what am I getting at it? What's the purpose of this writing?
That's not educational.
I truly want to understand what is the point. Of course, yeah, man, there's the whole locker room talk. We all know our former president was impeached 17 times for it. All men have locker room talk. If anybody says they're not, then, I would question their but this type of language, I mean, blow up doll, we do this and we do that. Who talks like that?
But that's why the majority of kids are failing at reading, writing, and math, because you have activists, not our great teachers. And our great teachers are sounding the alarm. Earlier, you said about the combo classes. Mm-hmm. We have an amazing teacher who came to the board meeting who's not even part of the union. And she's saying, guys, this is the worst thing for kids. But at the same token, we're locked, right? We don't have money. We don't have funding. Enrollment's going down. Newsom's spending money on other crap. And you have these great teachers that are sounding the alarm, but you have these activists that want to teach their kids about butt doing and weird blow up doll crap.
Instead of having, see,
And
And they're all
this
failing at reading, writing, and math again.
yeah, I mean, this individual was talking about, it was an elective
Did
course.
they ever respond?
Well, how about having an elective course about taxes, finances,
Yes.
stuff like that?
Remember, we used
Hang
to
on,
have
we
home
have-
ec.
We
Home
have-
ec, dude.
Yes.
I learned how to sew.
Yes.
I learned how to write a check back then. I learned how
Cooking
to
was involved as well.
everything, like
We had-
basics.
That's why my checks bounce. I never took home
Yeah.
ec. Damn it, Mom! You never took me to home ec.
You're signing the wrong area. It's like, Mr. Caribbean, this is not where you sign. This is where you write the amount that you're writing the check for.
We have
And
a
don't
message
write
from-
checks you can't cash.
What do we have?
We have a message from someone supposedly named Antifa. Let's see what they say.
Oh,
Right here. It says, "You're-"
Antifa declared war on me. Did
Oh,
they really want to
declared
go
war on everyone.
Let's go.
You're leaving out lots of context. The passages in the Feminist Frontiers book are examples of texts degrading to women.
So we're allowing the sexual nastiness because does that really even make sense? So the context, why do you still push all this stuff into a kid's hand with the context of what? So now we're going back to saying that it doesn't matter that they're talking about
So
butt effing and blow up dolls because it's protecting
no,
women?
degrading. So does degrading women, is that their way of encouraging young girls to transition into boys and men
I'm so
by
confused.
degrading them in
How
these
about- how about we-
textbooks, or
how
what?
about
Wait,
we-
is their name actually Antifa? Who's
Yeah.
proud to say that? That's so bizarre.
I mean,
They're
whatever.
probably
They want to
being
be
sarcastic,
private.
Yeah, they're
But
trying
I mean,
to be
it's
cute.
yeah. But I mean, instead of
Cowards.
having that book, why not have an actual history book about women that have accomplished things in American history or
Yeah.
in world history?
Well, Sean said we had books like this when we were in school.
No, but
What
I mean,
books did we have?
you want to hear
What did we read that was like this?
like this?
I don't remember.
I have
books
never
like
read
this.
anything
Feminist
like that.
Frontier?
Well, that's what Sean said. I don't remember. Sean, what year did you go to? We didn't graduate in 2020. We graduated back in the 90s, some of us. So
I was 2000. Don't go.
we
too
didn't
far.
have that.
That was 2004. You're fine.
98.
Oh dang!
Yeah, oh, you're fine. Don't worry.
You're my brother's.
You kids, that's why I can't even
Close.
read the damn thing in front of you
You
kids.
just
you feel
did.
embarrassed.
I really hope it encourages one parent
No,
to
I
go
mean,
check
look,
that out.
there's ways of educating a child. You don't need context like that.
You're
you want
right.
to talk about empowering women? Bring up empowering women.
But wait,
Books
why
about-
don't you ask that person to define a woman?
Oh, I mean, can they?
That's exactly my point. You want to protect woman, but you can't even define a woman right now.
Well, I mean,
Antifa, what's a
can you-
woman?
yeah, can you tell us what a woman is?
I would love to hear that answer.
But I mean, that's
Good
the
luck.
thing.
We've been trying for years.
I mean, that's the thing. They won't say what a woman is because they'll say, you can identify. Anybody can identify as a woman. I mean, it's sad. Which I mean, you'd say this was scripted, but actually, this leads into our next topic of the.
Dang, we're just rolling right into
I
them.
know. It's
Damn,
it's
I
the
thought-
Olympic boxer.
We're a good team, guys.
Sounds like it's not your first rodeo.
It's
huh?
not. It's not. It's only 280. Are we at 287?
no,
which one are
this
we
is
at?
288.
288. Damn, we're almost at 300.
Oh, the way Joe said, no, it's not 287. I thought he was going to say it's
What are you guys
493
saying? What's 287?
Episode.
episode.
Oh, dang, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
You
280.
guys are busy.
288. Yeah. So,
Yeah, we've been busy mowing like, oh.
that's what it is.
Okay,
All right.
let's go.
So the Olympics was going on, and here's the thing: when they talk about misinformation, there's some misinformation that we actually want to bring up because
Yeah.
there was an individual who was fighting in the Olympic boxing in the 66 kilogram. And I'm sorry if I butcher her name, and I'm going to call her because she is actually a female. Her name was Iman Khalif or Khalif. Is that how I would pronounce it? Khelif. Khalif. So she fought.
Sure.
So she fought an Italian boxer, and the Italian boxer gave up right away. I think it was 44 seconds.
45 seconds. Yeah.
44 or 45 seconds into the match. And rumors went around online allegedly saying that she's a man and she has XY chromosomes and she wasn't allowed to fight. And it was a man, it was a transgender man or a transgender, I don't even know, transgender female,
Woman.
transgender woman.
Yeah.
Let's just call it it and get over with.
A trans woman.
A trans,
That's- yeah.
a trans woman was fighting against a biological woman, and the internet blew up. Everybody was like, okay, she doesn't deserve the win. We should pull her off. And the Olympics committee was like, no, she's allowed to fight. But then the IBA, the International Boxing Association, was saying that they did tests on her and technically she wasn't allowed to fight. So just to kind of clear the air, here's what happened. So this individual has somewhat of a deformity. She is a female, but her body produces something in her blood or in her body where she has certain male, I don't want to say features,
like
capabilities.
Yeah.
She produces certain testosterone that's a little bit higher than what a regular female would have. But as far as body parts are concerned, she's got all the female body parts. There are articles out there saying that she doesn't have eggs. She has the ovaries and all that stuff, but she doesn't have eggs. So she can't really produce because it's kind of like that intersex, I think.
She's like the 1% exception is
Dude,
what they're trying to say.
It's even less than that. It's less than that. But she is a female.
A hermaphrodite.
Doesn't hermaphrodite have both?
It's like intersex.
Both tools, or
doesn't she?
Is that true? I see.
It's like intersex,
Okay, so
basically. Who was that?
Do we even know for sure
As far as
what's happening with that particular person?
So it was confirmed by the IBA and the IOC, which is the International Olympics Committee, that she is a biological female. It's just her body produces something that her testosterone levels are a little bit higher. And
so that's not technically considered PED?
No, it's not, because PED is a little bit different. Like, for example, there's a lot of MMA fighters who were female who kind of took PEDs.
Performance enhancement drugs.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was one of them was Cyborg. If you guys remember Cyborg, I don't know if you watched
Cyborg
MMA.
Took so much testosterone, she grew a penis out.
So if you look at Cyborg's features, her jaw, her arms, she's built differently. She's built like a dude practically. This one, look, she's at the end of the day, she is a female, and you can't say that. Oh, you know what? She was going around beating the shit out of all the women, because look, there's a lot of female fighters that could probably beat the shit out of all three of us. Like, if you ask me, if you were to get into the ring with Ronda Rousey or Amanda Nunes,
I would beat you up.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Probably would. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think if I were to go into a boxing match with Amanda Nunes, she'd probably beat the shit out of me.
Some of us had taken jiu-jitsu.
There you go. So you whoop all three of us then.
Okay, but I think the important fact that we're missing is there is a lot of heat at the moment, because the fact is boys are allowed to legally in most states and obviously in even colleges, most colleges compete.
Correct. So
that's where.
Yes.
Let's talk about California really quick.
Well, before you get into California, this kind of ties into an Olympic or a certain swimmer. Her name was Leah Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
Leah was a biological man.
Yeah, he's a man.
Who transitioned into a female.
Wait.
He didn't really transition into anything.
Become a female.
Well, technically he did.
No,
what school did you go to?
You can't become a female.
He identifies as a female and chopped off his body parts.
No, I don't think he chopped it off.
He didn't even chop it off.
Okay, well then, what the heck? He's not a female.
Look, even if he chops it off, what makes him?
Do we have a female swimsuit we can put on Arnold? Because she looked the same.
Do you really want to get another woman in this room pissed off by calling that thing a woman?
Leah Thomas
is a dude.
Is a dude that identifies
as a woman.
Chick, all right,
doesn't mean it's a girl.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, good.
Right,
we're friends again.
Yeah, we're good. We're on good terms now. Yeah, it's like Constantine.
Yeah, you got to watch your words right there.
We got to give Leah a pamphlet that Constantine was reading.
You were using like DEI language or something.
Sorry.
Arnold thinks if you go to Target, you buy a female swimsuit, you've transitioned into a woman. So that's not a transition, baby. That's
okay. All right. So
you're just in the wrong kid.
Me putting a bra on doesn't make me a female.
One all over these.
You can identify as whatever you want, but the reality is these are dudes competing against women. So I'm a woman, and I find it very offensive that they're calling them that we have to call them that.
Apologize, Autumn. Apologize.
I'm sorry, Sonia.
You look how.
Come on, man. I got two female athletes in my house.
I know. Oh,
She's
that's why she got
She's gonna
aggressive.
jiu-jitsu your ass right now.
I'm gonna
And
jiu-jitsu
that
your
kind of
butt.
hurt, man. Kind of hurt.
I barely touched you.
Sonia, what
I
athletes are?
identify
What
as a
sports
weak
are they in?
woman right now.
Don't make me bring the guns out. Come on.
What sports are they in?
Now, listen, this is an audio podcast as well. So when you say don't make me bring the guns out,
I mean muscles.
All right,
Muscles.
we just
Look,
wanna
look, look.
clarify.
I got some muscles.
Look at that.
let me see.
Look at it.
Look at that.
And they're actually weak right now because I
Holy
have an
shit.
injury.
All right, guys.
We're
if
gonna arm
Amanda,
wrestle after the show.
if Amanda Nunez, Ronda Rousey, or Sonja Shaw gets into the ring with me, they're gonna beat the shit out of me.
Only if you use DEI language again.
I don't think I can.
I told you to stop
Again.
taking estrogen.
You're gonna weaken you. Hey, you guys were good the whole podcast. Now we're in trouble. Where's Antifa?
It's all that soy. It's all
Well,
that.
we're getting to the 2-hour mark.
It's all that. It's all that soy milk I drink.
Okay.
What soy? There's a lot of estrogen inside soy.
Do you
why I don't drink
identify as a soy boy?
No. All right. Where were we? Leah Thomas. Leah Thomas was not allowed to participate in the Olympics. Why? Because Leah Thomas is a man.
A dude.
Is a dude. Whereas this individual went through the actual Olympics committee and went through the IBA and was cleared as a female. But I get.
I
If
still
that
think
is true, if that is true, the fact is people's hearts are up and their blood pressure's up because the fact that dudes can compete against women in their own sports. I don't know if that's true. And I don't look, if it's a man and it has a,
It doesn't. He or she doesn't.
But okay, but
if the chromosomes are
X-
that of a male,
That's the thing.
that's
a lot.
why didn't they just do a simple blood test?
A lot of
and
people were saying that
publish it?
there's XY chromosomes. That was cleared up as well. There were no XY
okay.
chromosomes.
Well, if that's the case, I'm not going to say that's the case, but if that is the case,
Yeah.
The fact is, because it's legal for these dudes to be competing, especially in high school levels, college levels, that's why people are so intense
Okay,
right
but-
now fighting this.
So how would you guys feel, both of you, and Joe, you two, the three of you, if let's say you as a woman, you were, or let's say one of your daughters was competing against another woman, a girl. I don't know what the average testosterone level is for a girl. Let's say it's 120, for example. And the girl you're competing with, and it's a physical sport, whether it's running or boxing or what have you, and she has 850, 950 testosterone. Everything else is biological female, all the chromosomes, all the tools are there. Would you be comfortable fighting or competing with a woman who has an 850 testosterone where every other woman in the world on average has 120?
That's where the controversy comes in. No, I wouldn't feel comfortable.
Look, I used
Especially in
to
combat.
power lift. I would deadlift 375 pounds at one point. And the dudes next to me, they were deadlifting almost twice the amount. I was doing jiu-jitsu with dudes a lot of them are police officers, and they're like, dang, you're strong for a woman.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is they still have the advantage, right? Like I can give them a fight, but as a woman, you can't compete with that. I mean, if you get two people with the same training, a man, a female, and a male, who's going the same training, eating, athletes, who's going to perform better?
The male, of course.
I mean, it's science, it's common sense, right? And the fact that in California, they're allowed to in schools. The boys are allowed to go into the girls' locker room. That is the law. If they identify as the opposite sex and vice versa. That's why people are at such a height. And this is why, my blood pressure rises and I smack you over there, because it's like, it's a real thing. Like I have two female athletes and I'm like, if a dude ever steps on that soccer field, you're out. You walk away. I don't care if you lose the championship or whatever. It stops when we stop.
Yeah.
And then common sense is back. And then issues like if this is true with this particular person and she really is a female, they wouldn't be so heightened because it's not being allowed at the bottom level up.
A lot of people were triggered just by the opening ceremony of the Olympics.
Did you see that?
It was horrific.
It was demonic. It was evil.
horrific.
It was a slap in our face.
Absolutely. And that's why, you can't find the opening ceremony on YouTube anymore. I don't know if we spoke about this. Did we speak about the Olympics opening ceremony?
not on
I don't-
YouTube?
You can't find it.
Are you sure? Really?
You can go back and you can find, I swear, anybody who's on YouTube, Nina, I know you're there as well. you can go on YouTube and you can search opening ceremony to the Olympics. You can see the one in London. You can see the Rio de Janeiro one. You can go back all the way to Tokyo. You can see the beautiful one in Beijing, China, where they had the drums going. They pulled it from YouTube. You can no longer find the opening ceremony in entirety. You'll find snippets of it with like a bunch of newscasters talking about it, but you won't find the opening ceremony, and it's actually pulled from the Olympic website as well. There is a reason why, because they realized that whatever they did was demonic.
Wow.
The individual who choreographed that entire shit show apologized. The Olympic Committee apologized. That individual who choreographed it was fired as well. So they knew they screwed up. They knew
what was coming. You can't tell me that they didn't know what was coming for the Olympics.
This was what it was.
Top secret.
Anything that's demonic, they'll do it in front of you. They won't do it behind your back.
But
and
they
this is
did
known
it.
as
This is what the left does. This is what the demons do. They do it in front of you and they say, "Oh, sorry, just
It's
kidding."
a bullshit apology.
yes.
You don't think there
They
wasn't
only do it
Didn't
because
Balenciaga say the same thing? Oh, we did not know those ads were running. Really? You guys spent $100 million on an
and you
ad.
didn't know.
no,
Nobody
I know.
approved it.
But here's the thing. Like I
the
said,
valet guy approved
there,
it.
Okay,
there was the valet.
no bullying here.
But
He's like, bring
but
bullying
it was
back.
pulled. You can't, like I said, you can't find it anywhere. Bring bullying back. Yes.
Generation X, man.
Yeah. You can't find the video anywhere. They said that
They want to bury hit.
they want to be on.
They don't want it in
It's-
history books.
Dude, it's like the actor from Blippi, his video that was pulled offline.
But how many times are they going to attack Christians, God-fearing people, and Jesus? And we're all going to sit here and be like, "Here's the other cheek." That's not what the Bible says either. You don't just we're misusing scripture too. But they're doing that, and then they're doing it on purpose. They're doing it in your face. They're triggering. They're pissing off. That's what the demons do, or demonic activity does. And then, oh, sorry. Well, what kind of crap is that? You apologize later. They're not really apologizing. You can't tell me these people at the Olympic level, no one knew what they were going to show. It's like putting the half-naked chick in front of kids dancing and saying, "Oh, sorry, we didn't know that she was going to expose herself." Well, you knew what the act was.
Well, the French government came out as well, and they said that this was a disgrace to our culture, because again, going back,
who said that?
Basically the French
Macron?
the French government and Macron said it as well. So what it was they went back and they said, look at the Chinese opening, right? The Beijing opening. They had the beautiful drums going back, showing Chinese history. You had the Rio de Janeiro one. Again, they showed the history of Brazil. And then you had the London one, the Industrial Revolution that they showed. It showed the history of the country.
I grew up looking forward to the ceremony, watching with my father,
Yes.
and it was a family.
It was
So
event.
beautiful.
that's what we were looking forward to, as far as sitting down, watching the opening ceremony with my kids.
Yeah.
We're like, all right, this is going to be great. It's going to show the culture of the French people. And in the beginning, you saw that Frenchman, or running through the town. It kind of gave you like this Assassin's Creed vibe, where it was like, oh, the old French colonies. And I'm sure they're going to be talking about how the French expanded and how they became this huge empire, and then how they became, something about the French culture. But then all of a sudden it pans out, and then you got this, I'm sorry, overweight, like unhealthy woman pretending to be Jesus. And then the chef opens up some fucking, sorry.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Or you might pull your card. You're done.
Opens up the dish, and you have this Smurf coming out coming out of the dish, and you're looking at this and you're saying, so this is what the French is all about. This is the French cuisine.
Have you been to France?
I have not been to France.
Yes, their cuisine is not what it claims to be.
Is it Smurfs?
You guys are getting tired. You're being silly.
Is this Smurfs? Anyways, but yeah, that's what it was. But the French government apologized.
Fuck their apology. Like they apologize.
There's two.
Pull your card. You're done too.
Great. They
Find my
apologized.
phone.
No, sorry. This is my people have my emergency line. They just text me priority, and I have to look at it. When you work with me, you get my
just like Armand.
Armand
Jeez.
Grigori.
By the way, is there anything that we've missed before we call it a night?
Well, that
You want,
we have-
the mask ban in New York. Did you guys read about that?
can we talk about that before we
Yeah.
call it a show?
So, interesting article that came out. When was it? August 14th, a couple days ago. A few days ago.
So Sonja, you were around during the masking of children, masking of everybody.
That's how I got involved.
So that's how you got involved. And what
She
were they?
was around as in what? Like she
As
was
in-
born?
No. As far as being involved as a parent,
Oh,
not being born. I know. I'm not saying she was born in
just want to
2020.
clarify.
Yeah, just clarifying, just a little bit. So that's you lose your train of thought every time you throw curveball at me.
We have been bullying him the whole time. Let's be real.
Bullying.
But it's making you stronger.
Yeah, you got a thicker skin now compared to
Yeah.
half an hour ago.
Oh, absolutely. I grew an inch as well. But that's what basically made you become a advocate and defend your children against the woke left. But masks were one thing that they were constantly pushing on children. Wear the mask, stop the spread, get vaccinated, stop the spread. And masks became somewhat of a norm in society until recently.
Speaking of masks, yesterday, my brother and I, we took the kids to this burger joint, and we're sitting there waiting
Burgers
for.
sound good.
We're waiting for our food. This older gentleman, he's walking with this KN95 fake mask from China, walking towards the burger joint, and the way he opens the door and just puts his mask down and puts it in his pocket like he's fucking clean. He's like, that cowboy.
Strike.
Like, who the hell is? Why did it's 2024 August? Why are you walking with your mask from your car to the burger place? And then you open the door, you put your mask away like you just have a concealed carry weapon. And
Because germs are smart. They
I-
know not to touch it.
Hey guys,
Oh, he's got a mask on. Everybody back off.
I'm eating now. Do not
Do
come
not
near
touch
me. Do not
No,
touch me.
no. You got to be sitting down and eating.
Oh, you got to be sitting down. Well, like maybe, I guess. But yeah, and after all that, after all the hassle we had to go through, wear a mask. Otherwise, you can't pay for your items that you picked up. Or you can't walk into the restaurant.
Putting
Now,
kids outside,
Putting kids
not
outside.
letting them learn.
Social
Now,
distancing.
New York County signs first mask ban into U.S. law.
Why?
Smart.
Because there's so many criminals wearing masks and they can't identify them.
Exactly.
See, you're smarter than you look, Sonia.
Hey, I've been called more.
So, Nassau County in New York implemented a controversial ban on wearing face coverings in public on Wednesday in a move criticized by state politicians and civil rights advocates. The Mass Transparency Act, signed into law by Bruce Blakeman, the Republican county executive, makes it a misdemeanor for anyone to wear a facial covering to hide their identity in public. People who defy the law could be sentenced to up to a year in jail and $1,000 fine.
This is so sad.
Although there are some exemptions for health or religious reasons.
Hold on. But you can't put criminals who kill and hurt people in jail.
No, you
No.
can't. No.
But you're going to be
You could
criminalized
Yeah.
for the stuff we fought against.
Yeah.
Putting kids outside, denying them an education in America.
Yeah.
I mean, make it make sense. I say it all the time. It absolutely has no
Yeah.
sense, right?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
But
It's the
but
Twilight Zone.
let's be real. How long is that law going to be in effect when they're trying to push another virus going around, right? To kind
Coming
of
soon.
control.
Well, it's election.
It's
season.
coming soon, or is it already?
It's
No,
I don't know. Whenever
it's-
Scott Wiener starts announcing stuff, I'm like, here we go. It's part of the plan. They're being loud about it. Demons right in front of your face.
Yeah, but I think the virus thing is old at this point. I think it's like kind of like an overkill. They got to come up with something.
They got to
else.
come up with something else.
Yeah,
They
they
gotta
have
get
But the
more.
fact that they're criminalizing masks, I just find this hilarious. It's like, just set them up and they'll eat their own. They do it every time. It's like,
Dude, I said this a couple episodes ago that the Democratic Party is going to implode on itself.
they are. We just got to
Oh, this
hang in tight.
look again. I don't want to jump into this Israel and Gaza situation, but that's completely divided the Democratic Party. They
Oh,
don't.
yeah.
They're like, all right, do you support Israel? Yeah, we support Israel. But do you support Palestine as well? Yeah, we support Palestine. But the Palestinians are anti-LGBTQ. But no, the LGBTQ people are for the Palestinians. But they don't like LGBTQ people. But the Israelis do. It's like
Well, are they wearing a mask while having this conversation or no?
they're
6 feet
wearing
apart.
masks, hijabs, they're wearing everything, bro.
6 feet
Everything.
apart.
KN95
They have the
hijabs,
blow up doll over there. They're reading the what's that book?
Feminist
vax.
Frontiers.
Feminist
They're reading
frontiers.
passages from Feminist Frontiers
Hey,
while
El Guapo, read it to me. Slow motion.
and genderqueer. Let's not forget gender.
and genderqueer. Yes, all of it at the same time. So that's basically what's going on. Eventually, the Democratic Party will implode on itself. That's it.
I really hope so.
Well, it's happening in New York. They're now banning masks. So,
You can't even retake that seriously, right? It's like it's a joke, bro.
bro, it sounds like a stupid.
Wait,
Sir, you're under arrest for wearing a mask.
and you have to spend, was it 1 year in jail, you said?
Yeah, up
It's
to
like,
a year.
take your mask off. Before it was like, put your mask on.
COVID. We don't care. Take your mask off.
Yeah, that's basically what it's become. But look at how
It's election season, damn it. Take it off.
Yeah, look-
we need to spread the damn thing.
look how stupid it's become that
Oh my God. I didn't even think of that. Oh, dude, you're brilliant. That's exactly why.
But why do you think I get the big bucks to sit here? And
Dang.
it's because of my voice.
Kinda.
wow, bro, that really like opened up my eyes as well. It's
For
yeah.
reals, right?
Yeah,
See,
it's like, you know what it
sharing's
is?
caring.
It's like it's election season. Take your masks
Yeah,
off. Let's
I'm
ban
the
masks.
brilliant guy. He gets a high five
Oh
and
my
Nobel
gosh.
Peace
So you're
Prize.
too far away.
I've never thought, dude.
From now on, if I see somebody wearing, sir, you know it's illegal to wear a mask. No, it's not.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
it
get a
is.
misdemeanor. You know what? I'm calling 911 right now. That's what it was. Imagine
I'm gonna
back-
report you for being overly
Look,
safe.
back in the day, you'd walk into a Trader Joe's and they'd call the police if you weren't wearing a mask. Now if somebody's wearing a mask, you know what? I'm calling the police. You are wearing. I don't know if you're going to be robbing
That's
the place.
actually a true story.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if you're going to be robbing the place or you're here for your
Oh,
cappuccino.
we have videos. I mean,
I went to H&M with my kids after the entire thing went back to normal. Finally, well, not I never went back to normal. Let's be real. But like no masks were required.
Mhm.
I walk into H&M and like the Victoria Gardens in Rancho, not too far from Chino. And I'm with my kids, and this lady said to the man at the register, "You can't ring her up. She needs a mask on." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? The whole thing went. The county doesn't even require it." She's like, "Nope, you're not ringing her up." And I'm like, "Yes, he is. I'm a customer." And she goes, "Nope." And she fought me. And I said, "I'm not moving until you ring me up. I'll just stand here." And then
Was it under 950?
no, I
You should've just-
probably should have just walked
you
down.
should've
Yeah, you
just
should have
walked
walked down.
yeah.
Probably would have been praised by them. Long story short, she called the cops. The cops were waiting outside, and I love law enforcement. I'm like, really? We have criminals right now, and they called you for me? Just because I walked away at that point, but I wanted to prove the point, you know? And I was like, this is embarrassing. So if you're not going to write me up, you're not going to give me a ticket, can I just go? I don't want to waste your time. You have better things to do than to, be forcefully harassing a person for not wearing a mask in the store when it's not even a requirement. It was so bizarre. I'm like, what is wrong with these people?
Oh, in the prime of COVID, I had like the entire Costco staff surround me. I was like, literally walked in without a
I
mask. He
banned
goes-
Costco.
Oh, yeah,
I
he's like,
banned them all.
sir, you need to wear a mask. I'm like, bro, I'm already inside the store. He goes, no, you can't shop. I'm like, well, I've got a membership. I'm shopping. And then he uses his walkie-talkie. He goes, all of a sudden, like 30 employees surround me, and they're like, sir, you can't shop inside Costco. I'm like, bro, I have a membership. I'm legally allowed to shop here as a member. Well, no, our policy states that if you're not wearing a mask, I'm like, okay, show me the policy. And then they realize, like, shit, we got to go find a policy now. And then I'm like, look, bro, I'm in the store. If I had the virus, if I was
You're
sick.
like, how many germs did I just put
Yeah.
on you right now?
I'm like, if I was sick, we're all practically dead in about a couple of weeks. I'm like, are you guys sick? They're like, no, we're not sick. I'm like, great, I'm not sick either. So can I go do shopping? They're like, no, you can't go anywhere. They're like, can you at least wear a face shield? I'm like, bro, I wasn't planning on going to space, so I'm not wearing a face shield either. Like we were there, and my wife is like standing there. She's just like, oh my God, just put the damn mask on. Let's go shop. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Do you remember all the money they dumped? You talked about face shields into the dividers, the clear dividers that they put
Oh,
in
yeah.
the desks of the children.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck?
What are you talking about?
We
What
don't
about-
have money.
Dude, they had
And
that. They had those dividers at Costco. The divider's there, and then like you want to get rung up, and you have to have it. It's like,
But what dividers? How about the music classes in school? The guy's wearing a mask. He has a hole in his mouth because he has to blow on a trumpet. It's like, oh yeah, that's really protecting you. That
the little hole.
Crazy.
Oh man, it's
crazy.
sad. The best was the social
I'm glad
distancing.
we're laughing because it really wasn't funny during that time.
I was in Mexico 6
have
months
nightmares.
earlier. So I was
Yeah,
there
Joe
during-
practically lived in Mexico. I mean,
I was in Mexico.
He was smart.
must be nice to be the cartel, huh?
well, you should have brought some ivermectin back with you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Horse
did.
dewormer.
I did. I brought a
Can you
lot
give
with
us
me.
some?
Yeah, of course. Well, let's see. I don't know.
You can't say it on TV.
I
Yeah.
It's on
No, I
television.
actually I don't have any left. Sorry, I lost them in a boating
Dang it.
Yeah,
In a boating accident.
accident.
it's on his jet ski in Guadalajara.
Oh, geez. Well, before we end the show, we want to thank our general sponsor, Armand Gregorian, law offices of Armand Gregorian. Again, if you're involved in a car accident, reach out to him, 818-404-0333. It's his personal cell phone number. You could reach him anytime via text or via call. Injury attorney, Armand Gregorian, 818-404-0333.
If you're wearing a mask while you crash your car, do not call him. Do not call him.
If you're driving a car alone with a mask on,
Yeah. Hey, what happened? You know, I was wearing a mask
No.
and
Armand, I was involved in a car accident.
sir, are you wearing a mask?
Yes.
You guys are so silly.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Call Sweet James.
Call sweet. Oh no, screw that guy. Anyways, Sonja, thank you so much for taking time out of your Monday to be with us. I
Thank
hope
you.
this was fun.
I had a lot of fun.
We tried to be as serious as possible throughout the show, but eventually,
We have to,
the
guys.
wiseness eventually come out. I'm sorry.
No, don't be
Yeah.
sorry. And we have to do that. I mean, if we're going to survive, it gets so thick and so ugly and it's so real and it's so bad. But if we don't keep connecting and actually just being humans together,
Yeah.
there's no way we're fighting this.
And actual GUSD parents and Antifa, if you guys, I'm inviting Antifa to the show. Antifa, if you'd like to join us, we'd love to have. I'm in all seriousness. I'm not joking you. In all seriousness, whoever
they
you
won't
are,
do it.
we'd love to sit down with you or one of your representatives.
enlighten
You
us,
could be
yeah.
fully masked. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you could wear a
Can
hijab,
I
a
come
mask,
back?
everything. Doesn't
Can I
matter.
come back, please, if they say yes?
Absolutely.
That's not gonna happen, but it's okay.
and we have a studio audience here as well. We'd love to have your crew here as well. But
Yeah.
and then if you need security or if you need, I don't know, anything,
We can do a gender reveal for you on the show.
Yeah, we can-
Whatever you want.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, circumcisions, gender reveals, everything. Whatever you guys want, we could provide it. It's a one-stop shop here with the wise nuts. But anyways,
Can we do circumcision and aftermarket parts?
Guys, you behaved the whole entire time.
we do.
Enough.
but you got to be a man to be circumcised, like XY chromosome.
Time out.
All right, Sonja, thank you so much, dear. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate
Keep
you guys
fighting
too.
the good fight. We,
Fighting it with you.
definitely, and we look forward to having you back on with us in the future.
I look forward to
All
it too.
Everybody else, today's show will be up and running on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all major platforms mañana. Have a great week. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys all next week.